Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
We got them cold cuts. That prosciutto, that gabagool, that Hunter Renfro gotta go. Oh my gosh. It's like get your boar's head meats, cold cuts, because these cold cuts, they hurt. They hurt my man. Cody Lack. No room for ifs, ands, or buts as the Panthers finalize their 53-man roster. You'll listen to the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. This is my wheelman, Cody Lack. What's good, my friend?
Tony Dunn, I don't know why the Carolina Panthers conspire to keep a good Clemson man down. I'll never understand it. I felt for sure my man Hunter Renfro was going to be a lock to make this roster. But you know what? It's not all bad. I convinced our boy White Chocolate Espresso to trade me Jamar Chase in our fantasy league. So you know what? I chalk it up to a good day. But dude, we have a great guest tonight. He's basically an honorary C3 member at this point from the Charlotte Observer. Our boy Alex Zietlow is here joining us in just a minute. And you know what, Tony Dunn? No matter what, we do this show with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know him and love him. It's Joey the Blind Panther, the brand ambassador, Diesel Skills, Dougie, G Baby in the house, Harvey London, John B. Jenkins, Kristen Butler, Panther Pickle, Panther Gal, V are the Hope Dealer, and John B. Jenkins, Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You guys get on the cat calls later on. We'll get your thoughts on those cold cuts. If the Carolina Panthers put together the best 53-man roster they could at this point, and where they are going to be looking as they hit the waiver wire going forward, could they do the funniest thing and make up for it by getting Isaiah Simmons? There you go, Cody.
Yeah, baby.
How about that?
Let's go.
This NFL is a funny world. CK, the man with the golden pipes, what's good, my friend?
Man, listen, we have a taste of what this team is going to look like. I think there were some surprises, but for the most part, I think this was pretty standard across the board. I don't think there was anything outside of the ordinary that we're seeing with this temporarily final 53-man roster. But man, it's quite interesting to see how the dominoes have fallen up to this point, because it is it's heartbreaking to those like Cody, but it's also, you're starting to see the vision, and many of these moves, even with the Hunter Renfro, very well could be a temporary one. We could still see him in that process blue come the beginning of the season if things fall our way here. But man, just happy to be here with everybody talking about Panthers football 1 week and 2 days away from real football.
Can't wait. Go ahead and do us a solid, smash the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, give a share on wherever you're at. It really helps. And make sure you support our guests and their publications. Cody Lack, this is always your introduction.
Yeah, man, like I said, at this point, he's practically an honorary member of the C3 Legion. He does fantastic work for the Charlotte Observer with Mike K. You know him. You love him. He's here to break down all the chaos and the monotony that just went down today from the Panthers cutting down to their final 53-man roster. C3 Legion, give a warm round of applause for our friend Alex Zietlow back on the C3 Panthers podcast. Alex, what's up, brother?
What's up? What's up? Thank you so much. I feel this is the warmest welcome I've received, perhaps ever. Thank you so much, and I appreciate y'all embracing me, even though my name starts with an A. I know it's a big deal here. So
Well, so does Tony's.
Yeah. Actually, I am, and I'm going back.
That's actually a good
Anthony in my
point.
new life. Yeah. It's C3 is a kind of a weird thing. Is it's actually because of the Carolina Cat Chronicles. This was supposed to be a website to start. And then there were the 3 C's. Then there were 3 people that did it, and then we just rock with it because it's a cool hashtag and easy to say. Alex, the Panthers trimmed down their roster. I guess it was 4:00 was the deadline to get to that magic number of 53. And like CK alluded to, is that maybe sometimes in the past there have been more bubble guys, but it didn't feel like as many outside maybe 5, 6, 7 people you think that were up in the air. And it's always like this to a certain degree, is that they're the guys that you built the team with. They're penciled, almost pinned in. I know that they love to say that camp is about competition, but it's only really about competition for those final back 8 slots. Coming into today, a couple of moves before that. What stood out to you as the Panthers finalized their roster?
Wow. Okay, massive question. I think we should just go ahead and address the elephant in the room, the Hunter Renfro thing along the wide receiver core. And the thing that I want to say about that is this. I personally thought that Hunter Renfro was like a near lock to make the team, particularly after that first week of camp where he was making the most plays along the receiving core. Yes, he was taking some receptions from Andy Dalton, but Bryce was looking at him too. He had this hamstring thing pop up on him about a week into training camp right before the Cleveland Browns joint practice. And we asked Dave about his injury, and Dave was like, well, we talked to him and he said if the regular season started tomorrow, he'd be willing to play, or he'd be able to play. And so when you hear that kind of messaging from the coach, you're like, okay, the head coach is like considering this guy as part of the team's future. 2 weeks go by. The injury lingers a little bit longer than we all thought it would. And this guy named Brycen Tremaine just comes out of relative obscurity. Yeah. I mean, he kind of stuck out for a variety of reasons. He was really tall, 6'4", and that's really tall in this wide receiver room that has just a whole bunch of sizes across the board. And he had a previous relationship with Brad Idzik. He was a walk-on. Brycen Tremaine is actually a wonderful story. He was a walk-on at Stanford. Brad Idzik was a graduate assistant at Stanford and recruited him essentially and said, hey, we really want you to be a preferred walk-on here, even though Brycen had offers in at Ivy League schools and stuff. He really wanted to go to Stanford and he played, ultimately got a scholarship there and worked his butt off to get into the NFL and kind of overachieved everywhere he's been. But still coming into camp, we knew him because he was tall and because he in NFL regulation games, he had -2 reception yards. In other words, we have more NFL receiving yards than he does. And that's I don't exactly know how that happened, but he's only played in 2 games, and both of them were with the Commanders last year. So there were all these weird things about him. But then when you saw him on the field, you're like, wait, he's just as fast as these other guys. Wait, he has this height, this intangible thing. Wait, he's making receptions. He's catching He's not just catching 5-yard outs. He's catching touchdown passes from Andy Dalton. There was one training camp where he caught 2 touchdown passes in the span of 5 minutes. And final thing about Brycen, and then I'll shut up. The front office of the Panthers do actually pay a lot of attention to training camp. And Tony, I completely hear you when you say, yeah, performance at training camp only really applies to a few guys. And while that's true, that's definitely true for Brandt Tillis. Brandt Tillis is this guy from Kansas City who in 2020 found a diamond in the rough named Turk Wharton. And Turk was this guy, this undrafted guy from a Division II college, somehow played his way onto the Kansas City Chiefs roster and became an integral part of that defensive line with Chris Jones, won Super Bowls, whatever. And now Turk's on the Panthers because Brandt has a relationship with him and all these things. But the reason why Brant put Turk on that roster was because Turk was undeniable at training camp. And Brant essentially says, yo, we wouldn't have any credibility with this team if we don't give this guy a roster spot, because we're constantly preaching, your work will be rewarded, your performance will be rewarded. If we don't give Turk a roster spot in Kansas City in 2020, we're not going to have any credibility with that team. Well, I think that same thinking is applied to Brycen Tremaine, and that's ultimately why the team decided to go with 7 wide receivers and have Brycen to be one of those 7. And just, I guess one of those 8 had to be kind of left out. And that guy was Hunter Renfro. Whether you agree with that or not, I think that's the thinking there.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in here next year, Alex. How much of this was decisions based on whether or not they were or weren't able to move Adam Thielen? The rumor mill was absolutely abuzz that there was going to be a potential trade of Adam Thielen back to the Minnesota Vikings. It seems as though that maybe there was some holdups on compensation and what each individual party would get in this trade. How much legitimacy was there to that? And how much did that impact the final decisions that they made in the wide receiver room?
Yeah, it's a good question. Adam Schefter went on Pat McAfee earlier today and essentially said that there has been no movement between Adam's representation and the Vikings. I'm under the impression that the Vikings were the only team interested in trading for Adam Thielen. And I mean, that might sound obvious, but if the Panthers were truly in the trade market, there might be other buyers and stuff, but I think that is the case. Secondly, you got to remember Adam Thielen is probably the best receiver still on this wide receiver core. I don't think it's
proven,
that,
at least.
Most proven. I truly don't think it's that controversial to say that he is the best right now. I mean, Teteroa McMillan has all the talent in the world to be.
I agree with this.
But like he had a renaissance in that moribund 2023 when nothing on this offense was working. Adam Thielen was working. Over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. If Adam didn't have like a crazy big injury last year, he would probably I think he still was the leading receiver, and he probably could have had another 1,000-yard season. So the Panthers aren't just gonna give him up for I don't know, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick. I'm not super well versed in, the trade compensation that has been thrown around there, but I'd imagine that the Panthers would want a player and like a 4th, 5th-round pick. I don't know how rich I don't know if that's too rich, but whatever. Like the point is that Adam is really valuable to this room and to this team, really. And so to your point, Cody, I don't know if that impacted the Hunter Renfro decision, but I do know that having Adam in the Panthers wide receiver room did, it forced somebody out. Because
I think it's also was part of the plan, Alex, like from the beginning, is that while you're going to invest in Tet to be the exciting rookie, you got a 2nd-year player, that proven commodity, the kind of the leadership role, the him negotiating with the Panthers to come back, essentially. All of that makes sense that the Panthers, to me, it never made sense for the Panthers to want to let him go, and that the compensation would be more than probably anybody's truly willing. I don't think the Panthers were ready to just roll the dice with completely unproven players and arguably detract them from how good the room was. But this is where the thing got a little bit of wild today on the internet, or at least maybe it was. I think it was today. I saw it, and it was when Adam
it was posted yesterday, but it really went more viral today than it did yesterday.
So this is Adam Thielen's wife who posted. We do know that the importance of faith towards Adam, with Adam Thielen. So I mean, I don't believe that they're using these words completely lightly in a sense, as just lip service. But the post came up trying to trust God's plan, even when you want something and pray for something so hard. He ultimately has final say. and some things are out of control. Now, I want to be fair to Miss Thielen in this, is that her prayers and Adam Thielen's prayers may not be the same. And, as maybe she missed home or something to that effect. But this kind of did intimated, like, to some people, or at least, is that there was like a desire for him to go back home, to go to this, for this to actually work out. This is where it got fanned. The Flames, I think, or the rumor mill got going more, not rumor mill, but it's just beyond just the football component of this. And then it brought to light the personal nature of this. Have you guys, has this made any, not rounds, but do you guys, from a journalistic standpoint, does this influence, or do you think that this reveals anything about the situation?
It's truly hard to say. I mean, in full disclosure, that's the first time I actually saw that Instagram story.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that does kind of show that he wants to, or at least the Thielen family.
That's how it felt to most Panther fans for the majority of today and yesterday. That it was like, not only was there a desire to trade him, but there was a desire for him to want to go back to Minnesota.
Or this actually just to work out, right? Not even that he thought from the beginning when he came back to Carolina that was in the mix, but all of a sudden this comes about and it's like, oh man.
It's like storybook type of situation in his mind. See, in the flames to the fire is I think Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee said that, I believe it was that he also stated that Adam Thielen is interested in going back to Minnesota as well. And so there was an official report from an insider that said that Adam Thielen was liking, like the idea of going back. So it's the problem I have with this mindset is we're being looked at from, obviously Vikings perspective and many Panthers fans like we're villains and holding him back from going back to the Panthers. I sincerely believe that we price him for what we're willing to get rid of him. So as an example, when it comes to concert tickets, so I'm a big proponent of buying a ticket that I really, really want, and I list it for a price that's going to force me not to go. And if somebody wants to buy it, they can, but I want to go. I want to take and sit in these seats. And I think that's what the Panthers are doing here, right? They're like, hey, listen, the price is this. We're willing to take this number if you're willing to take it, but you're going to have to really entice us to get rid of this important figure on our team, because it sounds like there was mutual interest in the trade happening, as long as the compensation was there. In your expectation, Alex, I mean, again, a bit long-winded way to get to this point. Do you get the feeling that this is just the Panthers are asking too much, or do you really believe the Panthers are just like, no?
I don't think that there is to answer your question, I don't think that there's something called too much. I mean, this is the free market. This is the free market. I mean, what the Panthers think that he's worth and the Panthers aren't just making these prices by themselves. They're looking at other teams and how they value certain positions and players, et cetera, and stuff like this. I thought you made a really interesting point about, I don't want I don't want the Carolina Panthers to be seen as the villain in Adam Thielen's story. The Vikings were the ones who released Adam Thielen in March 2023. They're the ones who released him because he saved them a little bit over about $6.4 million on the salary cap. Yeah, I just looked this up. They're the ones who ended the 10-year his season tenure with him because for a variety of reasons. I mean, among them probably he was on the other half of 30 years. And like, they were like, okay, I guess the rest of his career, like the prime of his career is behind him. Well, he comes to Carolina and he proves that it's absolutely not. And like, now the Panthers are expected to give him back without like getting anything in return. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, at least. And I know y'all probably agree with me. I don't think that
I do. I think it makes a lot more sense to keep Adam Thielen than to get a 6th round pick. I think it makes a lot more sense to keep Adam Thielen than to get a 5th round pick. And to me, you're not really interested. I'm not interested in the Panthers doing it unless you're talking a pick in a player that really makes the team better in a different position group, and you're willing to go with because you've got enough guys that you think that you might be able to weather the storm. I want to circle back to the Brycen Tremaine story real quick, and that is now look, training camp was not available. We couldn't go, which changed the way that it was covered, right? Is because it almost went back to an old school coverage before the internet of like we're relying on really just the articles that are put out by beat writers like yourself for the real substance, right? Instead of all the instant reactions we get from every single fan that can record a great play. Like if you would have said, like if that would have been last year and the Brycen Tremaine catches 2 touchdowns in the span of 5 minutes, all of a sudden this story is bigger. The internet also, Panthers Twitter, which I have not been as invested in just because of other things going on as much as maybe some in the past. And I do think it's been less informative because of those components, is a gotcha place, right? It's like how many people are gotchaing Cody all day because Renfro didn't make it, right? Like it's like gotcha. I really believe that there was a ton of coverage, and maybe that's because the Renfro story had like a good story to it. But like we saw clips of him playing well, like doing good things in training camp. I saw story after story after Hunter Renfro. I could not remember anybody, do you think there was coverage of this, of Brycen Tremaine, of being anything more than an outsider coming in? Or does it make more sense in the aftermath now? Like now we go, oh, okay, I can kind of see it now.
It's a really good question. So I think that there are 2 parts to this. The first part is, yes, Brycen Tremaine did make several plays in camp. Whether those plays blew up on Twitter or whether they made the lead of an article or whatever,
right,
that's the second part, because we know that most fans are most interested in, okay, what's the chemistry like between T-Mac and Bryce Young? Like, who are the pass catchers that Bryce is throwing to? If Brycen is mainly doing things with the second team with Andy Dalton, or in the few times Jack Plummer got in there and threw the ball, like just naturally the reporters aren't paying as much attention to that.
You only have so much space and time and
we're trying to parse out, okay, let's report on the players who are going to make it. And are going to make the team. And so I think, to your point, it's kind of like a perfect storm for a diamond in the rough, at least from the fans' perspective, to be like, wait, who is this guy? And how did he beat out Hunter Renfrow? How did he emerge from this wide receiver room that we were already supposed to have too many guys on?
Yeah.
And now it was like concrete, and so there was no room for a rose to sprout through it. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I totally get that. I mean, we can rationalize it from the rear view mirror the entire way. He's a valuable. I mean, he worked on the special teams crew.
That's the component here. 14 years doing this podcast, what I realized is that most of the guys that are the back end, if you're going to keep 6-7 wide receivers, I mean, arguably you're thinking about how many snaps they're going to get in the regular season unless somebody gets injured. And the name that made the team that has, yes, it's good Twitter fodder for like the connection between Canales and David Moore. But it comes back to the special teams component and where this is how these guys on the back end can be more than a wide receiver. Final question on that is, because David Moore has a role on special teams, because Brycen Tremaine has this component of a special teams player and youth too. Was Hunter Renfrow not really, were they not really thinking about him? You think of fielding punts? Because I felt like they trotted him out there a couple of times early on, but is that the real kind of difference there, you think?
I don't know if that's the real difference, but I can tell you at the beginning of camp, he was just fielding punts with like a whole bunch of guys, with
Right.
Raheem Blackshear, with Jimmy Horn Jr., with David Moore. Like it was a whole bunch of them. And I must say, I do not remember after his injury him being back there. And
Right.
also, he doesn't have really any other special teams experience besides returner. So like if he's not the one catching the kickoffs or catching the punts, I don't exactly, not to say that he couldn't figure it out, but
Sure.
I just don't know. I just don't know like what he would have contributed exactly. So, yeah,
That's how you stay on the roster. I mean, there have been a lot of guys that made a living in the NFL by being special teams players that can play a position if needed. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, so I wanted to pivot to another offensive line group, and that's the offensive line. Earlier this week, the Panthers made news by extending Taylor Moton to a 2-year deal. And a lot of Panther fans felt like they might do this earlier in order to shore up some free money. Panther fans thought that maybe they were doing this for a trade. But what do you think took so long to get Taylor Moton's contract done? And what do you think spurred the movement for them to get it done now as opposed to waiting another year, which they had the opportunity to do?
Were you talking about a Trey Hendrickson trade or a Micah Parsons trade?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons,
Okay.
all the players that Panther fans dream about, or are delusional about, rather.
Yeah, no, I was with y'all at the beginning of this. Like, I'm talking like free agency when Trey Hendrickson was having his like kerfuffle with the Bengals, and I essentially laid out, hey, this is why the Panthers should try to go after him. And a lot of people didn't agree with me. Oh, he wouldn't fit in Evero's system. Oh, he's like a hand in the dirt pass rusher and the 3-4 that doesn't really work. He can't really be an outside linebacker because he's not as good in space, but he's not great against the run. So what would that be doing opposite Derek Brown? All these things. And I understand that. But when you have like a talent like him on the free agent market, like you should explore it. That's essentially what I was saying in March. Now, all the way here, I didn't think that the Panthers should do that for a variety of reasons. The defense was already set, all these things, but whatever. But I saw that fodder too, and I was like, man, I love that hope springs eternal in sports, particularly in Canada.
Yeah, me too.
It's so amazing. So to your point about Taylor Moton, I don't exactly know. The long and short of it is I don't exactly know what took them so long. I personally just assumed that this front office was going to go through this entire year without extending him. And because with the elevated salary cap in going into this year, they had a lot of room to essentially eat that $31 million in salary cap hit or whatever it was of Taylor Moton, and then kind of be on like level playing field when it comes to negotiating and all these things. Now the Panthers, because they've signed him, because they've extended him, have essentially given him some leverage in future negotiations. But here's the thing. Taylor Moton's been really good.
Yeah.
And for as much as there was to do about his chronic knee issues, he's still always on the field. Like the first time he missed any time was last year. And so, like, I don't know. He told reporters today that he feels like a rookie again, and from a health perspective, not from a mental perspective, but from a health perspective. And that's really great news. He has that spry. He has that jump. He is going to be the right tackle on what I think will be one of the top 10 offensive lines in the NFL this coming year. So, if they believe in his health and they believe that he can be part of this offensive line, not only in 2025, but in 26 and 27, like, why not just sign him and get ahead of it and not have to worry about this free agency talk, not have to worry about this contract holding over him because he's expressed that he wants to be in Carolina. So the timing is interesting because if you were going to do this, why didn't you just do this sooner? But maybe he needed to prove to them that he's healthy. I don't exactly know. but this is good news if you're a Panthers fan.
Cody, excuse me. There recently was a comment in the chat that not tonight, but like on the past of one of our videos, and it said, Tony, they called me out and they said, why you don't prep enough for the show? I was like, well, first we get all these different things as everybody's got an opinion. I understand that. Two, I've been doing the podcast for 14 years. I watch it. I've watched the team every play. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what kind of preparation I got to do for a fan podcast. Fan, not a journalist, right? In a sense. But there was, and you guys can help me with this. And so I'm setting that up, Cody, for a question for Alex is Thomas Nkoum made this team. And is this person going to tell me I didn't prep enough to know who this guy is for a guy that who had,
dude, last week that was me talking about Brycen Tremaine.
Right.
Well, who is Brycen Tremaine?
I think that's fine. I think it's fair. It's like one of these is like, I get that. Look, the internet is like boom, 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 boom. But Thomas Nkoum is undrafted, signed with the Denver. This is his Wikipedia page for his professional career. After going undrafted in 2023 NFL draft, Nkoum signed with the Denver Broncos as undrafted free agent. Nkoum appeared in 4 games with the Broncos, recording 1 tackle against Miami in a Denver loss and assisting on a tackle against Detroit, also a Denver loss. On August 27th, he's waived by the Broncos. The Panthers, August 28th, was signed to the practice squad, promoted to the active, last year, promoted to the active roster on October 8th, waived on the 30th. Alex, am I just completely unprepared for not knowing anything about Nkoum or why he's on this team? And I'm not saying he shouldn't be on this team, but what the, like,
Tony, do not know. No,
okay.
You are completely and adequately fine. I mean, let's take out Thomas Nkoum for a second. Last year, they had so much attrition on among those front 7 on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I remember them starting Jacoby Windman, I want to say against the Saints last year. I could be wrong about that. And me having to be like, oh yeah, nah, yeah. Mike wrote had 1 bullet point in one of his notebooks on a Thursday one time about him. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, because that's just football. I mean, there are 53 guys who make the active roster, but then there are another 16 on the practice squad, and those practice squad guys can be elevated at any time.
Who is this guy?
Oh, you're asking me about who Thomas Nkoum is. Okay.
No,
yeah,
I'm not really. I don't think. No, I mean, but it's like, this is the thing is he's ahead on the outside linebacker list on Panthers.com of DJ Johnson. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack about this, but I really don't know anything, nor really that interested in it. I guess we really just need to talk about when we're on the defense, Tuttle. And that was a name that I don't think was surprising that we actually know.
Right. Yeah. Okay, just real quick on Thomas Nkoum. He had a pretty good camp. He was a pretty good couple preseason games this year. Was really fast off the line, was pretty relentless going after the quarterback. But again, he wasn't going against ones like he was going against twos. So there's only so much stock you can put in that. And while this outside linebacker crew did get a pretty big facelift by the drafting of Nick Scorton and Princely Umanmielen, depth was always going to be a problem. So I think that's the easiest rationale for Thomas Nkoum. If he starts making plays in the regular season, we'll talk about him more, but there's
a chance he's not on this team in 10 days.
Yes, there's a chance he's not there tomorrow.
Right.
Yes. And that's another point I should have said about the wide receiver room too. Having 7 wide receivers is really hard in the NFL. Say the Panthers had 6 waiver wire guys, 6 waiver wire additions last year, and they kept 7 wide receivers on the initial 53, and then the moment that those 6 guys came in, they cut 2 of those wide receivers last year to go down to 5. Keeping 7 wide receivers is really hard too. So it'll I'm watching that wide receiver room as well as I'm watching, DJ Johnson and Thomas Incoon, because DJ Johnson, although he was injured for most of camp, didn't show his 3rd round draft pedigree this camp. So
he didn't have the luxury of being injured in a sense.
No.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, he is a favorite of Evero, so that can take him a long ways. And I mean, we'll see with DJ Johnson. Okay, but you asked about Tuttle.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this defensive line room. You got Derek Brown, who is going to take, if he's healthy, he's going to take, I imagine, pretty much every snap on that defensive side of the ball, or as much as he possibly can. Then you got Bobby Brown, Ashawn Robinson, and Turk Wharton. I think those 4 are going to
we saw it coming.
Yeah, I think those 4 are going to rotate into those other 2 down lineman spots. You got Cam Jackson, who you invested in as a draft pick last year. You got Jaden Crumedy, who you invested in a draft pick in 2024. Like, what did you expect? I mean, I don't think that it was necessarily a surprise. That's
not at all. Not at all. In fact, he's just a name that's made the rounds on these fun posts of look at the Scott Fitterer moments. We see Deontay Johnson be released by the Browns, CJ Henderson. It's just one of those name fodders that's happened there. Again, they made this message clear, but it's just an actual name that we know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no, I totally get you. I mean, he took a pay cut to stay here and then gets cut. I believe, but correct me if I'm wrong. He did get picked. Well, anyway.
Yeah, he's with the Titans. He signed a 1-year deal to the Titans already. Today.
So he's already been picked up by the Titans. So Tuttle will be fine. He had a good career with the Saints prior to coming to Carolina. I guess it just didn't work out here, which is that's how it goes sometimes.
Which there was this fun story too, and go ahead, Cody, because it's really not that important. Is I read this story, and I'm not gonna be able to find it because it was on my just on my notifications, and it was former Panther defensive tackle picked up by Titans. This is 4 days ago. I think his name was TJ Carter, and they just said, in the article, they didn't even mention his first name or initials. It just said Carter. I had to look into the caption of the picture that they put up to figure out who the heck the guy was. Headlines, boy. But now, I guess TJ Carter is now replaced by Tuttle.
So, Alex, there have been some surprises on this roster, but I still think that there are some areas of concern that a lot of fans have, and that's the linebacker room. Dude, it's dangerously thin in terms of name talent. Tony said in the intro of the show that maybe they might make up for cutting a Clemson Tiger and Hunter Renfro by potentially signing an Isaiah Simmons. Now, there has been no reports of that yet, but not really even just the linebacker room. But do you think there is any specific part of this roster that they might try to fill out further with some moves down the road? Could it be the safety room, the linebacker room? What room do you think could probably, or that we should keep an eye on for Dan Morgan to try to still make some adjustments?
I think the inside linebacker room. I think you're spot on. I think that's the first place. Truth be told, I'm a bit surprised that they cut Chris Barnes. He was this veteran guy who played in Green Bay and spent the last 2 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, not really getting a whole bunch of run, but proving that when he gets his chance, he's prepared and he's ready. They signed him within the first week of training camp after the Josie Jewell news, the Josie Jewell departure. And he performed solidly. I mean, for the most part, in the preseason games, it didn't look like he was swimming that much. He was the one calling the plays. If I remember correctly, he had the green dot when the starters weren't there. So I'm a bit shocked that they moved on from him, because he's like this veteran presence in a group that they very much needed. I mean, look at this inside linebacker group. You got Trevin Wallace, a year 2 guy, Christian Roseboom, who is a veteran. But then you got Claude Cherilus, who I guess is also a veteran, but he's been around the block, or he's been around a whole bunch of teams. This is only his second year in Carolina, second season in Carolina. And you got Bam Martin Scott, an undrafted rookie. So 2 of those 4 guys are like very fresh in the NFL, and all 4 of them are fresh in the Carolina Panthers system. And so I would imagine this guy, Chris Barnes, who's played in a version of this Evero system back in Green Bay, I'd imagine that would be really helpful. But anyway, I digress. To your point, Cody, I think that the inside linebacker spot is a priority for the Panthers. Isaiah Simmons is interesting, is compelling. I don't know how you feel about this guy, Mark Robinson, out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not to like, I haven't done any reporting on it, but just like looking at guys who are out there, he seems to be compelling. Just really at this point, the waiver wire spot, like I am just most interested in people who have substantial playing experience, because you're not going to build a championship team from waiver wire guys. Like, you're going to do so in free agency and through the draft and through paying the guys who you develop. That's how that works. But if you're looking for depth guys, you're really looking for guys who have played. And, this guy Robinson has, obviously your Clemson guy certainly has. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I imagine that most NFL teams have 5 inside linebackers, because that position just gets beat up so much and there's so much attrition there. So, that's where I go first. I personally think the safety room is pretty solid. Xavier Woods played every single snap for the Panthers, on the defense for the Panthers last year. And so, like, this team has proven that they can do well, or that safeties can stay on the field. I really love all the safeties too that the Panthers have. I know some fans are a bit concerned about Nick Scott, but he's like this wonderful leader and a really good special teams player. So he'll be able to impact the game. So I'm a little bit higher on the safety room than I guess a lot of other people are, but I still think the Panthers are going to try to make waves at the inside linebacker room, maybe in the safety room. And then there's also this possibility of kicker out there too, which Ryan Fitzgerald is the team guy. He is the starter as of now because he's the only kicker on the team. But who knows? If Ben Sauls somehow falls to the Panthers, he was the kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had like a really great camp, but is just behind Chris Boswell. If he falls to the 8th position, or to the 8th spot in the waiver wire, do the Panthers take him? We're all speculating at this point, but I think that could be interesting. So I don't know. Sorry for babbling on.
Awesome.
Can you make any sense of that rambling?
Yeah, no, but that was actually a point. It was about to be my next question. Was this kicker, battle that we had, and Nick Fitzgerald came out on top, but that wasn't going to be my question. Do the Panthers trust him enough to be their kicker going forward, or do you think that they actually will sign someone? You kind of answered it, but I think that's a good point too. But yeah, go ahead on that. Then I want to ask about Lathan Ransom.
Okay. I just real quick, I think that he is an NFL kicker. Whether the team, and the team has said that they think that he's an NFL kicker. But they're always going to be evaluating, always going to be trying to level up at every position, like they say. I think the thing that they really love about this guy is that he has just a massive leg. He was.
What could he have done better either, Alex? Think about this. Is like, didn't he like ultimately perform well? Is like the real only knock that we've one of my fantasy football teams still to this day is named I Like Butker. And it goes back to the idea of just the fear of a young player. Is that the only thing? Like, I mean, did he what did he not do to win his? I mean, he won his battle actually, but like, is it just the experience and the risk of a young buck?
I don't think I mean, these coaches they are looking at literally every single thing these kickers do, from every single kickoff rep, every single like practice kick that they take, not only just the ones in the games. The ones in the games are most important, and the 5 that they take every other practice is also very important. But there are just some things that coaches see that even the reporters who watch the entirety of practice also don't. So,
in your opinion, did he answer the call though?
In Alex's opinion, yes, he did.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think Panthers fans will be should be safe with this guy. The compelling thing about him is that he has a massive leg, and if there was a knock on Eddie Pinheiro, that was it. Was that he just the Panthers just didn't feel comfortable kicking past 50 yards with him. I think that's a bit of a short change on Eddie. I thought he was actually really, really, really good. Yes, he missed that kick against Atlanta, and that's real, and that is part of his legacy in Carolina. But regardless,
he was overrated. He was overrated. And if any of us had on our tombstone, he had a massive leg written on it, we would all rest in peace.
Listen, there is I think somebody who's becoming a fan favorite in Lathan Ransom that he seems to have showed up in a very old school way, almost, in the way that he practices, how he plays in preseason and the training camp. I mean, in the fan fest while we were there, he had that one shot that would have been a penalty, as the Dave Canales refers to. But he seems to be a guy who has a high motor. He was really doing what he needs to do to make an impact on this team. How long do you think it's going to be before he is the starter on this team? How far into the season do you anticipate, or do you anticipate he's going to be taking reps behind the ones on this?
It's a great question. Dave Canales gave a rationale for why Nick Scott was starting games, because he had earned it, because he was there, all these things. Oh, man, I don't want to make you know what? I'm just going to make a prediction. I think he is the starter week 1.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't have said. Whatever.
No,
what are we doing
okay.
here?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, right
Yeah.
fun. Let's go.
But I just think that he's proven it, and he's because everyone said at the beginning of camp that Jimmy Horn was the steal of the draft. I think Lathan Ransom has proven that he's been the steal of the draft for the Panthers. And it's not just the interception that he had against the Steelers. It's not just him being mic'd up against the Houston Texans and being all fun and stuff. It's not just him having this hard-hitting reputation and then proving it in every joint practice and all these things. He knows where he needs to be. He constantly is in that spot. And the most important thing that a safety can be is a sure tackler. And that's what he is. I personally think that Damani Richardson constantly gets overlooked. I think last year I thought he was the best tackler on the team. Yeah. And people just didn't think that was worthy because the defense was so bad or whatever. But I truly think Damani's great. And for me to say that Lathan is worthy of a starting spot over Damani says a lot about him in Alex's eyes. Let's just say that right there. Also, it'll be interesting to see how this defense employs the safeties, because what if Trayvon Merrick is working at the nickel? What if he's essentially a glorified inside linebacker? Do you throw out another safety out there? Do you have 3 safeties playing on the field at the same time? I know it might seem strange, but that could be a way to work. In which case, Lathan's going to see the field a lot. I think he's going to see the field a lot regardless. He was on all 4 special teams as well, which is important. But he's been really good. And if I have to give a prediction, I think he's going to be the starter week 1.
I think an overblown narrative in this on this Panther roster is that the safeties aren't fast enough, right? I think that Morg, and I could be saying it's not right, and Ransom is sure, you don't have that rangy free safety that can, but I feel like in the scheme that they got zones that they're going to cover, and I don't think that their coverage skills are going to be as much as a detriment as people believe.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think there's that clip that went around in one-on-ones where Jimmy Horn absolutely smoked Trayvon. I don't know if you remember that one. That made the rounds, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, like whatever." I think that was just one route. I think the rest. I think that this secondary is a lot better than people think it is, and I think the Panthers front office thinks that too. So
yeah.
So, Alex, leave it to me to bring it back around to my boy Hunter Renfro. He is
Wait, can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
We are what, 30, 45 minutes into this podcast. Have we even uttered the name Bryce Young?
No.
Isn't it wonderful? It's almost kind of wonderful.
Ourselves on the back. We're doing a great job. My question about Renfro is he is a vested veteran. So unless I'm incorrect here, he doesn't have to go through the waiver wire process that everyone else does. He could, just sign to whatever practice squad he wants to. Should I just kill the hope now? Or could there be a return of Hunter Renfro, almost similar, although different from what happened to Jalen Coker last year?
You do not have to kill that hope. In fact, another important factor in all this is because Hunter Renfro is a vested veteran. If he was on the week 1 roster, his salary would actually have to be guaranteed according to NFL roster rules. Now, his 1-year deal, I don't have it off the top of my head, wasn't that expensive to begin with. But if you want to be this scrupulous front office, that could have been a factor in, okay, we can bring him on after week 1, or we can just keep him on the practice squad, promote him for week 1, and then sign him fully to week 2. If they were really trying to be like I don't know, cute about it.
Cap geniuses.
That said, you could have done the same thing for David Moore. So
right
there's that.
That's where I was thinking too, Alex, is like there's these people talking about how he could, you almost wonder if they had to have a conversation with these wide receivers and they were like, who's willing to go on the practice squad and not go on the waiver wire because you're invested.
That would be so
right. But that's my point is like, why, if they really believe that Hunter Renfro was a better wide receiver than David Moore, why was David Moore not given this treatment as opposed to Hunter Renfro? It just doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense. So I agree. Yeah. Alex, continue. My apologies. It's such a great point.
No, I appreciate that. And also, if you want to continue down this point, David Moore has said publicly, hey, the only head coach of the NFL I want to play for is Dave Canales. That's my guy. He's the guy I believe in, all these things. So that's why we all thought, okay, well, if anyone from this receiver room was going to leave and come back really willingly, it would be David Moore. So I don't know, man. There is that possibility, Cody, but I do think that there is also a heavy possibility that Hunter Renfro just won't be back in Carolina, and another team will be like, yo, this guy is looking.
He's going to be on Kansas City and he's going to win a fucking Super Bowl probably.
Dude, Tony, you think he's getting past the Minnesota Vikings? Like, you think he's the Vikings are going to 100%?
I think that San Francisco needs a wide receiver. I'm still more just in awe about this. I don't know if it's a compliment. What's a bigger compliment that we have not mentioned Bryce Young or Cam Newton so far?
Every team is better. Every team is better with the presence of a Hunter Renfro. I don't give a damn what anyone says. I'm still mad about this, but he will probably be picked up somewhere.
All comes back
like
to
Minnesota
teams.
That's a good point. Special teams utility is very important. But
and
like
David Moore is not bad,
reps.
bro. That's the other thing that we have to if you're excited about Hunter Renfro and that 1,100 catches, the 1,000 yards, the comeback story, all of this. But let's not forget that David Moore has made in the league for like a decade now almost. He's been around. He makes rosters.
Connections with Bryce
big
already.
Ass plays for us last year. You can show me this one play he had where he had a drop last year, but he plays, man. He shows up. He's kind of like a Coker type player where it's just like they get shit done.
He was a big part of Bryce Young and his resurgence towards the back half of the year last year. No matter what anybody wants to say, Coker went down. Thielen was out, for a bit. Maybe he wasn't out when Bryce came back, but there's nonetheless, when you look at that, some of the most important catches that were made on third downs on those gotta have it drives, they weren't a lot easy either. Like there were some difficult ones that actually happened. So yeah, absolutely, it's 100%. David Moore and the connection with Bryce Young is still as valuable, I think, as maybe something even with an Adam Thielen.
Couldn't agree with you more, CK. He was a lot better than a lot of people gave him credit for, I think.
Yeah.
I also understand the fans' perspective too. Like, you're trying to give more, you're trying to give space for this young talent to thrive. It's such an interesting balance. Like, oh, the team needs veteran leadership that can develop these wide receivers. Well, the team keeps collecting young wide receivers, so they should eventually use them and develop them in the game. It's an interesting balance. David Moore is, I think at the end of the day, David Moore is Dave Canales' guy. He plays special teams. He's a sure-handed catcher. He's a sure-handed catcher when the team really just needs to secure a punt return and not just do a fair catch. Dave Canales is putting David Moore back there. He's just like this reliable dude. And I think I think that this team needs that.
The epitome of a journeyman. I put it in the chat, but I'm going to ask it, Cody. Alex, if you were the host of this podcast, which your podcast drops now on Thursday because of how much work I saw Mike K put it out, and Mike's got kids that are going to school for the first week. He's busted. He got little babies, man. I know that. My youngest is 12 now. If you were the host of this podcast, what would be the question you would ask about Bryce to your guest?
I would say I would ask something to the effect of, did he get enough time in the preseason? Because I think that is the truth. I think that is the ultimate question that hasn't yet been answered, and that you can actually have a point on. Because, and I kind of want to hear y'all's thoughts on this.
Oh, CK's got a big opinion on this.
Okay, great. The Panthers made this big deal. Okay, we're playing the starters in the preseason. They go out in the first game. Dave Canales says, "Okay, we want to get 8 to 12 plays. Whether that be one, preferably it'd be one long drive, but it could be two if one is kind of short and the other is
which
medium,
it was,
whatever. Which it was in the first game. Then in the second game, it's just 2 3-and-outs, and they were expecting to play more, and then they get pulled out after, and then when asked about it after the game, Dave said, "Yeah, they didn't earn a third drive." That's a bit confusing.
I guess they didn't earn a start either.
Well, it's just a bit confusing, and Joe Burrow said this. I don't exactly know on what platform, but Joe Burrow said, yeah, joint practices are great because you have these individual drills and you and you get to really workshop and hone things with your players in a relatively controlled environment, but it's still really competitive. But in the game, you are going to get hit if you don't get the ball out in time. In the game, there are true consequences to an interception. You don't get a rep back to immediately rinse and repeat. You know what I'm saying? There are true consequences to your shortcomings or whatever. And you also get to the rushers take different lines to attack you. There's just all these things
more organic.
It's like real football.
Yeah.
And if you don't hammer that home, how do you expect the team to be sharp from the beginning? Everyone thinks, oh, the only important part of preseason is get your tackling down, get your coverage down, you get to build chemistry. No, it's like massively important for the quarterbacks. Unless if you're like, I don't know, an Aaron Rodgers who's been in the league for
right. Yeah.
Well, but on top
guys
of that, you
don't
also
count.
have guys like Patrick Mahomes playing deep into the third preseason game. So there are a bunch of other teams that will play their starters deep into it too. And then when you see the Panthers just not, Alex, everybody hates my opinion on this. I would never play any of the starters in preseason. Like, I hear the point that you just made, but like especially when you look at how they handled it,
the stupidest thing I ever heard.
I hear this all the time. But dude, the reps that they actually got in this preseason were negligible anyway. Like, are you going to tell me that those 2 drives actually did anything for Bryce Young in that second game versus so that leads to my point. Like, I don't even understand why you play him if you're not even going to play them enough to get meaningful reps.
That's 2 separate issues. Like, that's 2 problems, right? You're so what you're stating with one opinion is that you don't think you should play starters at all, right?
No, and other teams have done it,
right? But there's a lot that haven't, and I think there's a lot of evidence that shows that teams start slower when they do have no starters play in the preseason, right? And case in point, let's look what happened last year with Bryce Young. He's benched after 2 games because he could not get any type of rhythm going. I think that's not a coincidence that him not playing barely any preseason last year is the reason why potentially he's in a situation where he gets benched and he comes back and then he's able to start to kind of play himself into a really good position, right? So I disagree with that. Now, I do agree wholeheartedly. What's the point of playing the starters at all if you're only going to run 2 drives on both of those first and second
plays?
Remember there was it used to be a dress rehearsal, right? There used to be a kind of a consensus across the entire NFL that especially when there's 4 preseason games, one of those games your starters are playing a full half, not 1 drive, not 2 drives, not a quarter, an entire half. And sometimes they would play into the third quarter as well. So this idea, to answer your question, Alex, the idea that we are believing that our team is prepared enough to be able to go into the season having only played starters for 2 drives out of 2 games is, especially coming off of a season where there was a tremendous amount of volatility in this offense. Even though it may have been not the weakest link, it certainly was a concern last year. And then you add the fact that the defense is still a question mark, even within the preseason. He says that the confusion is absolutely there for me as well, Alex. How do you put yourself how do you believe that you didn't earn a drive? That should be the opposite. I think you should have to earn your way off of the field. In my mind, until I see that you're ready, you shouldn't be removed from a game because you have no right to be.
Cody, my answer to this too is that I think you're wrong. I think you're right and wrong. I think you're right and you shit or get off the pot. Right? Is what is the benefit of playing Derek Brown in 1 snap? Right? I mean, it's 1 snap. What, you just want to get his jersey dirty or something to this effect? I think that I don't know what the answer, and I don't think anybody knows the solution to any of this. It's just what anybody does is, but I'm with CK you play. I would almost just play him for a significant amount of time in 1 game only. And what I like about what Alex has said is I don't think that the preseason is about getting your tackling down. I don't believe in these joint practices as being as cool as they say. It's so scripted. I think the benefit of playing anything, and I think what the preseason could do, is that you get in positions that you're uncomfortable with, that you didn't script in practice, that you didn't go, oh, it's 3rd and 9 and we're on the 30 and this is what we do. This is what we do. The clock's ticking. Things are happening. Things didn't go like you had planned for them. They went better than you expected. There's an organic nature to it. And that what you're learning is football situations that you've had classroom learning about, but now you are trying to apply those things in real time where the play clock is clicking, where people are subbing in and out, where the coaches didn't just say, oh, wait, stop. You're not running back, and doing this thing. I think the answer to your question, I think, Cody, you make a fair point, is that playing them nominally is not beneficial. But I think like you should just, to me, I would just committed. And in fact, if I was a coach, I would just say, this is the game where we're going to go out. You're going to play a quarter no matter what. We got a full quarter or a full half. But this whole idea, because then it creates this whole universe too for fans where it's like, oh, well, we went out there and they went 3 and out. We didn't plan to go a second drive, but now because we went 3 and out, we're going to go back out there. We went out there, we went 3 and out. Now it was so good, we take them out. I just say, get some good experience, not experience, but just play simulation as close as you can get to a meaningful game. And I just don't think that practice can do that. I think it can get close to it at times, but I just shit or get off the pot. So Cody, I agree with everybody in a sense, but like, what is Derek Brown playing one snap helping?
Yeah, it might as well not even happen.
It's
right. It's so either do it or don't.
How Canales would answer that is that Derek Brown playing one snap is beneficial because he has a pre-game nightly routine that he has to get through. He has to be prepared and go through routine to play football the next day. He has to do the thing before the game. I can hear the eye rolls from across the room, but this is literally what Dave Canales says. And then there's also this other thing that should be noted, that offensive play callers don't want to call interesting things in the preseason. And when you only have so many things, when you only have so much of the playbook to work with, they're not going to they're not just going to have these starters go through these things. I'm saying that all this to say that I still agree that the Panthers should actually play some meaningful football in the preseason, because other great teams have done it. Other great quarterbacks do it on a regular basis. This team needs to prove that it's ready from week 1, because if they're going to try to make it out of the winless doldrums, they got to capitalize at the beginning part of the year.
And they got to prove it to themselves, Alex. And I know that you probably, I'm sorry we've taken so much of your time. You brought this up though. And when it comes to this vanilla, that's what we hear is, oh, it's a vanilla offense. It's a vanilla defense. Then you get this added layer too, that the play callers aren't even the play callers. We had that whole story about like, oh, well, we want to get Kidzik to get this experience and this and that. What my question, I guess, would be this is, we use those arguments, or at least it might, I don't even know if it's a question or more a point. We use those arguments that it's a vanilla offense, it's a vanilla defense, when we don't do well. So why is it that these teams that are also in theory running vanilla offenses and vanilla defenses are having more success or less success? Is there real? I mean, I know that's a real thing. You're not going to show your hand. You're not like really doing everything, but aren't you kind of trying to call plays that make a difference in the preseason? Like, it might not be the most intricate play design ever or whatever, but like, you're not just going to be like, oh, it's 3rd and 9, run it up the middle. Should we? And just as a fan, and I know this is long-winded and circuitous, but that vanilla discussion seems to always be injected when it's helpful. It's like, oh, well, Shador played against this. Well, we played against their threes and we didn't do jack. But it was our play calling. So at what point do we just cancel the preseason then? Do you actually, does that, where is there a middle ground? do you believe that the vanilla, like all of a sudden that the Panthers are just going to be like, oh, well, we're going to just draw up plays that are so much cooler than everybody else in week 3 when we can't just run the ball up the middle? And I'm not saying they were bad, but like that to me says the preseason kind of does matter. Go out there, put a hat on a hat, make a block, and make a play.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is just, I think these are the conversations that are truly going on in coaching rooms across the NFL, in front offices across the NFL. I don't think that this is, if there was a proper way to do it, then every team would do it that way. If there was a proper way to do it, then Dave Canales wouldn't have changed his tune in starting in playing his starters for part of the preseason from year 1 to year 2. Because as you remember, the starting offense played exactly 1 series last year in the preseason. I think these are just valuable questions. And do I also think that the vanilla play calling argument for why the Panthers went 0-3 in the preseason this year, do I also think that that's hollow? Yes, I do.
Thank God. Thank you.
I mean, if you want me to validate you, you could have just said that.
No, I don't want validation. It just feels like it's an excuse.
No,
that's what I feel like. It's always an excuse. And I'm not saying that like is that you can't do that. And I'm not a person that believes that because we didn't perform exceptionally or something or winning games in the preseason, that really changes my trajectory of the team. I just don't really feel like it's like, it just feels, like God, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just convenient, and that's not the word I'm looking for. It's just like, oh well, when this doesn't go our way, it's vanilla. But if the Panthers would have smoked somebody and shut down their team, they wouldn't have gone, well, they were just, that was vanilla offense and our defense. We've been celebrating these moments. So I just think that like is at what point it does it become something that you're really gaining? And I don't know if there's like not an answer to it, right? There is certainly not an answer to it, but I just don't buy if we're running a vanilla offense, they're running a vanilla defense. And like, at what point do you just like get a first down?
I mean, bro, this is right. This is exactly the questions that you should be asking. Also, why are we talking so much crap about vanilla ice cream? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, put some peanuts on it. It's pretty sweet.
No, put some Oreo cookies in it, and it tastes great. Like it's a classic. Like whatever.
I know, man. Just run the football and
just prove that you're tough on the line of scrimmage. If you win, if the offensive line and the defensive line wins the line of scrimmage, you're gonna gain yards, no matter what flavor of offense you're calling. That's just how it goes. So I completely feel your point.
All right,
Tony, I lied to you. I have one more super fast question. Corey Thornton, does he play any meaningful snaps for the Carolina Panthers this year? He's been another fan favorite. He came on strong in training camp. What do you make of Corey Thornton being on this team, and can he do something this year for the Panthers?
Absolutely, without a doubt. My colleague Mike K called him just a slightly slower JC Horn. That's a massive
love that
endorsement. Look at this cornerback room. You got JC Horn, Mike Jackson, Shaw Smith-Wade, and Corey Thornton, and a Caleb Evans. That means like if Shaw Smith-Wade is going to be that nickel corner occasionally, I know I just glowed about how versatile safety Trayvon Merrick is. But if you put Shaw at the nickel spot or at nickel corner with those other two guys, that means Corey Thornton is one player away, not necessarily one injury away, but like one substitute away from getting meaningful reps in like a real game. And he's everywhere. He's lining like all of training camp. He was lining up against the Panthers' best players, lining up across from T-Mac, lining up across from Xavier Legette. He's big. It's exactly what this front office wants in a cornerback. I don't exactly know his dimensions off the top of my head, but he's like over 6 foot. He's he's had a whole bunch of pass breakups this car. I mean, I'm just talking in circles. Yes, he's going to be he is going to make a meaningful impact this year.
Awesome.
And it's going to be relatively quick too, because like they're going to need him.
Cody,
Awesome.
give him an out. We took his whole night up. Thank you so much,
Dude,
for
Alex,
being
you're the
generous.
man.
He's got
Like
a
I
lot
said
of work to
earlier,
do.
dude, like I said, you're an honorary member of the C3 Legion at this point, brother. You're awesome. Your insights are always great. The fans appreciate it a ton. I know we certainly do. Tell fans where they can find you and your podcast with Mike K, and where they can
subscribe
find
to the fucking Observer.
Tell them where they
folks.
can find the great work you do for the Charlotte Observer.
And also, you can subscribe to it, and then you can pay a little price, and then they're gonna, and then they will. You can call them, and they will reduce it. So don't worry, you're gonna get more for your money than you know.
Okay, great. On that note,
We gotta keep journalism alive, dude.
No, Tony, it is a good point. I appreciate any subscriber who puts in effort to maintain their subscription. That does mean truly a lot. So no, that's a really good point. I was just making a silly joke. But yes, follow the Charlotte Observer, charlotteobserver.com. You can follow me on Twitter or X or whatever you're trying to call it, at Alex Zietlow 05. I also am trying to do this thing on TikTok, which is mad interesting. I just started it 2 weeks ago. You can follow me there at Alex Panthers. I'm still workshopping the name. I don't know how great that is, but you can follow me there as well. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I do get a bit self-conscious sometimes. Hopefully I'm not just rambling and being
not at all,
boring.
Awesome insights, man.
This has been really fun, and y'all do a great job.
And you keep pounding them, man. You make your copies, you do that. We read it, we appreciate it. It really is important. It's been more important than ever. The beat writers do make the difference, man. I mean, it's really the case is that you guys are on the ground doing the real, doing the work and the insight, and we appreciate it. We do. And this is the platform, not our platform, but the people that are listening right now are the ones that follow that. They are the ones that are going to not argue, but are going to read. And I tell you, we do appreciate the work, and I do appreciate keep it alive. I know it's a slog. But guys, please go subscribe to the Observer. Keep journalism alive, and again, you will get your money's worth. I promise you. And if you don't get your money's worth, actually you will, but you can just be I'm going to cancel, and they'll be we'll give it to you for $8. And they will call you. Don't worry, it's fine. It's it's the truth. I'm sorry, but it's if $14 is too much for 4 months, they'll give it to you for 8 after. Just do it. Pay the bills. He's got a mortgage to pay. He's got rent to pay. He's got to get to these games. And Alex, thank you so much for your time, man. We really appreciate it.
Guys, thank you so much again.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you, brother.
That
was Alex Zietlow of the Charlotte Observer. We love that dude, man. He was willing to entertain all of our questions, all of our preseason meanderings. Dude,
and we pay. Yes, it's we got to do it. The coverage is real every week, every day. The people, man, I'm telling you guys, is this is where real information and real insight, not real, it's there is still thoughtfulness of media, and you have to commit to it by subscribing and being a part of it, because if you just argue on Twitter, you are just wanting to say something. You don't really want to learn anything. And
dude, I know one thing. The chat room loves him, man. They love listening to Alex. He has great insights. I also reposted the interview that we did last time. I put it up on YouTube. We'll do it again this time. Dude, Panther fans are thirsty. Listen, we're now in that 9-day stretch between roster cuts and the start of the season, where other than college football, it's about to be dead, man. So the fans really appreciate it we can get a beat reporter to come on here and really give some insights, especially after such a crazy day. I was really depressed after Hunter Renfrow got cut, but hearing the methodology as to why, and having the access that he does to the coaches and Dan Morgan and being able to ask them questions, it's awesome insight, man. We definitely appreciate it from you.
All right, Cody, take us into the show and give me 30 seconds. All right.
Yes, sir, man. Well, listen, we already touched on a lot of it, but there's no ifs, ands, or buts after these Panthers roster cuts. CK, so much happened today, but let's just really quick, as we delve into this 53-man roster, let's break down the players that were cut.
Yeah.
Because there were quite a few of them. I'll go through the list real quick here. So this is all the players that were waived. Jasim Reed, Bryce Pierre. By the way, some of these names I've literally never heard before. O-line, Jarrett Kingston. O-line, Brandon Walton. O-line, Michael Tarquin. Defensive end, Jared Harrison Hunt. Defensive tackle, Sam Roberts. Linebacker, Maz Mwansa. Shamar Bartholomew, Michael Reed, and Trevion Thomas. I mean, literally the only name out of that list that really stands out is Shamar Bartholomew. He had done some good things earlier. I know the last time that we interviewed Alex, he told me that Bartholomew was really flying around the field, making plays. He was in on everything. But then he sort of had a lackluster preseason. CK, I think the biggest surprise on this list, outside of Hunter Renfrow and maybe a shy Tuttle, is Raheem Blackshear has been a great returner for us for a very long time. He was serviceable out of the backfield, but no more Raheem Blackshear on the Carolina Panthers, man. What are some of the names that stick out to you on this list?
Dude, this list is so honestly nothing. I mean, I hate to say that, but again, the Hunter Renfrow is certainly the biggest name that I think I think that's the most jaw-dropping, if you're going to say it's jaw-dropping. Raheem Blackshear, we kind of had seen the writing on the wall, and here it says it's an injury settlement. So I don't know what he was nursing that allowed them to go about it that way and how that impacts things, but somehow that was, able to happen. I'm assuming there's something, because I think we had signed him back to a contract or something along those lines. So maybe he was guaranteed some money and we did a settlement, to get out of paying some of that guarantee. I don't know. But, the Bartholomew situation, I don't even know if it's all about Shamar Bartholomew being the problem here. I think it's just Corey Thornton came in and just stole the role. Like, in all honesty, like, I know that Bartholomew could, certainly still have a depth, perspective on this team, but Thornton, I mean, he came out and he just from day one was showing that he deserved to be on the field. And I think that's more indicative of why you see Shamar being waived here. I mean, other than that, man, I think honestly, if I'm being straight for you, do you have Mike K's depth chart?
Yes.
He didn't say the whole, I don't think he put the whole depth chart on there, but I think if I'm being honest with you, I think more shocking to me is the depth chart. In some of the
Which one
things
you
we're
want
seeing.
first, the defense or the offense?
Let's start with the offense.
Sure. 1 second. This is courtesy of John Ellis.
Oh, perfect. So, here there's again it's not over the top as far as the things we're seeing. You're seeing the wide receivers, Jalen Coker is edging out Jimmy Horn in that number 2 spot. David Moore is edging out Brycen Tremaine. Adam Thielen is the sole position on that slot role at this point in time. I think what's more interesting is Jatavion Sanders has taken the starting role from Tommy Tremble. And
yeah,
how much is there to this story? Number one, like, not how much. I'm with you, CK. Look, he
also just came back from a back injury too.
That part of it that's what you have to wonder, is he has not been able to participate in any real, drills or practices or anything, meaning Tommy Tremble. And so is this just a Jatavian Sanders has the upper hand because he's probably in a little bit better shape because of him being able to be there for that for the entirety of preseason? But I also wonder, I mean, everybody, there that first couple of weeks of training camp, it was not shy. They did not shy away from talking about how Jatavian Sanders looked quicker, and he looked like he had really done his due diligence to make himself a more valuable target to Bryce Young. I don't know that we've seen a lot of that show up on, actual big plays or anything like that, but it's certainly interesting to see them actually placing him in front of Tommy Tremble, especially after the contract that Tommy Tremble had signed. I do think it's also worth noting that they still have Chandler Zavala behind Damian Lewis and Josh Neiman behind Taylor Moton, and nobody behind right guard, mainly because I think they really believe they have Cade Mays and Brady Christensen that can play any of those roles.
Cody, does this to Jatavian Sanders? I think a lot of this does have to just do with the fact is that Sanders went through camp. Tremble has the injury, right? If Tremble went through camp, I think he would have gotten the nod of being the number one in this. And how much do these actually matter? This and that. You're going to be running when you run 2 tight end sets. They're both out there. I like this is though. And Alex kind of mentioned this is like camp does matter. This to me gives me faith in the world that we may still be a meritocracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be real. Jatavian Sanders is the hot hand. He's the guy the fans are excited about. Tommy Tremble, I've always said that he never really got the best shake. He hasn't
been bad either.
But that's what I'm saying. He hasn't been bad, but I feel like we've also underutilized him as a passing threat. To me, at this point, shout out to John B. Jenkins in the chat. He sort of reminds me of an Ed Dixon-like player. He's dependable blocking. Yeah, Tommy Tremble. That you can put him on the line when you need an extra blocker, and he's going to help with those run fits as well. So, yeah, I mean, to me, this is more of him being sort of injured at the wrong time. But I also think that this is going to happen no matter what. Like Jatavian Sanders was a part of a dynamic Texas offense when he did play at Texas. And I think that he offers more of a skill set than Tommy Tremble. Even though my boy Tommy does hurdle some of these defenders out there jumping over fools. I
hate a hurdler. Once they hurdle once, they think they can do it every play.
Dude,
I think that Sanders is better. Or not, like I love this. I mean, I don't know if I think this is going to be destined to happen. I think the injury played into it. I think you would have gotten kind of the nod of Tremble being the vet if he was healthy. But look, all of us have been excited about Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More so, and we got excited about some of these past tight ends, right? We like as Tremble comes out, Cody, you loved him. Ian Thomas, I know everybody hates that guy, but like he came out and had a very solid pass catching year his rookie year, and then never did it again. Sanders looks like he could be the real deal. I like that. I like this. Meritocracy exists.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is the depth chart for the defense.
All right. Is it? Or do we go what we like or what bothers us?
Well, how about this? The thing that bothers me the most is the linebacker depth. I mean, Alex Zietlow mentioned Bam Martin-Scott. He's an undrafted free agent, and he is our backup inside linebacker behind Christian Roseboom. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't have a ton of faith in this linebacker room right now.
Because if anybody gets hurt, you don't even have a vet.
Right.
Like,
you have no vets.
If you think for a second that their priority in the waiver wire is not a linebacker, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. And Alex said it. CK, one of the questions I want to ask Alex, but we can't, obviously we exhausted the time beyond, I'm sure, what was promised. But like Trevin Wallace, like, I mean, we're rocking with him. Starter. Yeah. Like, is he the deal? I mean, we want him to be the deal, right?
I think it's worth giving him the opportunity.
Yeah, we're investing in this, like, because there was nobody behind these guys. Like, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work.
The issue with the Trevin Wallace situation is I think there was an injury issue with him last year, wasn't there? Like, didn't he miss some games because of injury? And so now you're talking about you have a guy in there with Trevin Wallace, Christian Roseboom. I don't know his history when it comes to being injured or what have you, but I do think you need to give Trevin Wallace an opportunity. By no means am I saying on the waiver wire you need to go pursue somebody who is going to take his job or you're going to place in front of him. But I do think that you need to get. I mean, there was right now. I would say, hands down, my biggest concern is our inside linebacker core. And
a giant vote of confidence in Wallace as a second-year player. Roseboom, a guy they brought in, has experience. That hair, bro. I don't know how I feel about people.
Why are you so mad about his hair, man? It's
because
not
Cody,
that
we got that thick. We got that thick. We got that thick. Right. Yeah. It's like we gotta keep our hair under control.
Yes.
That might be right. It's like stringy and messy looking.
Finger.
I don't know. But no, it's not the player here. Is the question is like if these things do not work, right? Is like if anybody gets injured. I don't remember, CK, though, if Wallace had an injury. I'm in the chat. CK, I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. The one thing I remember about Wallace and injury was when Shaq got injured, that Wallace had to come into practices and stuff. Or like that one game he came in and he had the dot and he was calling things. So that's the only thing I remember about an injury. I like the idea. You drafted a player, you believe in him, you're going to rock with him. But if there's any position on this team, this is the one where you don't even know a lot about the guys who's starting ultimately, let alone the dudes who are backing them up. Wallace missed one game last year. Bryce Young, a laser said, but still, is second year player. You want them to progress. You believe. I do like this. The idea you believe in a player, you want them, but there you can make an argument. Anybody for a position group being thinner or more. I won't say concerning, but more delicate, tedious than this one.
I would say second place is safety.
Mm-hmm.
But
not even close, though, because you got more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not as bad as linebacker because we at least know some of these names. But, dude, Bam Martin Scott is a complete unknown. Claude Sherrill,
good story.
For as long as he's been on this team, I still feel like I know nothing about the dude. So, I have no faith in any of these guys. At least I know that the coaches have an appreciation for Nick Scott, have an appreciation for Damani Richardson, and we're all very excited about Lathan Ransom and what he has the potential to be for us. So, yeah, I agree with Alex. I'm to the point where I'm willing to put money that they would probably either pick up a linebacker via waiver wire, or just see who's available on the market. Because outside of Roseboom and Wallace, this is probably some of the poorest depth we've ever seen.
You can't even say your poorest depth when you're talking about your starters, right? Is that you also need Wallace. Not only do we know if these guys will work, right? We don't know if Roseboom and Wallace are going to be a good tandem. We just don't know. We haven't seen it, right? We talk about what they can be in Wallace, but inevitably something goes wrong. Isn't that Murphy's Law? Right? Is like, and that is the problem.
Can go wrong, will go wrong.
Is that if it's so tedious, it's like a house of cards at this position. Cody, do we want to go to the next? I want to get to some calls too.
Yeah.
So I think we should take some calls unless we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You leave the message. We play it on the show. You're a part of the family. That's how it goes. Let's rock.
Let's roll.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yo, it's showtime, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit under the weather. It's Lou from Fort Myers.
What up, Lou? Get better, brother.
0-3 in the preseason. And I know a lot of y'all just gonna be like, yo, bro, it's just preseason. It doesn't really matter that much, bro, but it kind of does. Because the way you practice is the way you play. And I'm trying to preach this. If Cam Newton said it the best, if your leader is a soft-ass motherfucker, you're going to have a soft-ass team. But if your leader is a rough nose, you're going to have a rough team, bro. So I don't know how Dave is leading these guys, really. I really believe that I'm not going to say we're soft, but I do like to see some wins, like winning culture. What was the Ravens had the longest preseason streak or whatever. And
the preseason doesn't matter except for
you know what I mean?
them.
Because they practice how they freaking play. You know what I mean? So, and they take every snap, every game like it means something. You know, like that preseason to them is a regular season game, if that makes any sense. But yeah, bro, I just like to see winning culture, bro. That's all I want. Because we could come off of this preseason shit and then start the season shit, you know what I mean? When realistically our season isn't really that challenging this year compared to what it was last year. But I just want to hear y'all thoughts about this game. And it's Lou from Fort Myers. Always love y'all. Be easy. Keep pounding.
Appreciate the call, Lou. Called in after the Thursday game. I was going to say that, and we're not going to spend any time on it, CK, but like, as these poor, I will always say, Alex, as you poor guy, got to watch these preseason snaps like they really matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, it's the fourth quarter. And the coaches ain't even calling plays. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's tough. Let's go to the next call. Let's see what people are talking. You got something to say?
No, I said, let's do it, man.
No, let's do it.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing?
It's my boy G.
Hey, looking online. Looks like Raheem Blackshear and Tuttle are gone. And you know what? I'm glad they're gone because I was never a fan of either one of those dudes. Tuttle sucked. Blackshear, yeah, he was a decent kick returner, but he really didn't do anything. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. But the time right now is 2:58, and we got till 4 o'clock. Cause I think 4 o'clock is like the deadline where you gotta have the rosters in. So somebody else is gonna get waived or released or something. I just have that feeling, you know. But hey, y'all, the game is this Sunday. NFL first game this Sunday.
No, that's following Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday.
Yes, I do see us beating Jacksonville. I do
9 days.
Almost there, G.
And I don't know about you guys. I'm sick and tired of hearing about this Adam Thielen shit about him going back to Minnesota. Or he wants to go back to Minnesota. He wants to go back home. And da-da-da-da-da. Me personally, I don't think he's going anywhere. That's my opinion. But if he does, it's going to break my heart because he was a damn good wide receiver for us, man. I swear. Yeah. He's nice as hell. He's a good route runner and everything like that. But if he leaves, you got Coker. I think Coker can really, really fill his position. I can see it, man. T-Mac, XL, and him, or switch it out with somebody else. I can really, really see that. So give me your thoughts, y'all, about, you know, Blackshear and Tuttle no longer with the team. And I'm happy. I don't know about you guys. Keep pounding.
Yeah, man. So look, we can sort of use the cat calls to go through some of the position rooms.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he brought up the running back position. Look, Blackshear was incredibly serviceable the entire time that he was here. he did some kick returns.
Mhm.
But I think that the depth that we have in this running back room right now and in the future, considering that Jonathan Brooks will be back next year, but you have Chuba Hubbard coming off of a 1,000-yard season. Rico Dowdle, same
Probably
thing.
one and gone player.
Right, but I mean, for right now, this
Yeah,
year,
no.
who would you rather have, Rico Dowdle or Raheem Blackshear? I'm picking Rico Dowdle. And then Trevor Etienne, he started out kind of rough during the preseason, but I
solid.
do think that last game that he played, he really showed you some of the elusiveness and some of that yards after a catch ability that he can present to a defense. So yeah, I'm really okay with this room. The room that I think, so for example, he mentioned Shy Tuttle, and let me just
He doesn't have any space there.
Yeah,
So
like
before we go on though to that room, though, just real quick on the Blackshear, is when we were talking about with Alex about and I mean the Whitehurst and Wright, the kickers, field goal kickers.
Yeah.
Right. Like and then going and maybe getting a veteran from another team. I understand all of that logic, like when you lay it out on paper. What I want to know is, what is this team going to be doing on punt and kickoff returns? I feel like if you're afraid to take a risk on a field goal kicker, right, because of he got the big leg but lack of experience, we are investing a ton. The only thing that Blackshear was not going to be a running back. It's a returner, and we are investing a lot of faith in people who haven't done it in the game. Right? As in,
yeah.
And if I don't know the answer, what's the answer? Who's returning kickoffs and who's returning punts on this team? I mean, I think you're really saying we like Etienne as a draft pick. We like him as a backup running back. He's probably not going to crack the code at running back, but we're going to put him out to get killed. I'm sorry. Punt returners, it's the most dangerous fucking position in the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like going into war.
I mean, my money right now is on Trevor Etienne and Jimmy Horn Jr.
Isn't that a big? I mean, isn't that
That's
gamble
the names that we've
I'm
been
talking about though?
Yeah,
is that if you're scared to gamble with a rookie field goal kicker, but you're saying, "Oh, we're just going to go in there and do this on punt returns." I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, but this is what to me separates Canales from, for example, Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera was always so hesitant to run with rookie players to start the season. But I feel like in today's NFL, you have to. Don't bench the talented young players for some of these veterans if ultimately the ceiling of the younger rookie players is higher than those veterans would be. I think that is true for Trevor Etienne and Jimmy Horn Jr.
It at field goal kicker too.
Yeah, and if they like Fitzgerald, I mean, listen, I still would have done it last year or whenever it was when we had Harrison Mevis. I felt like it was a bigger leg, a better overall kicker than Fitzgerald, but I do like that they are starting the process.
Yeah, Mevis and Pinero last year.
Yeah, and I would have went with Harrison Mevis 100%.
Well, I won't go 100%, but I'm just like,
I don't give a damn.
Why is this risk okay at this position?
But kicker ever.
Why is this risk that important? Like, they did it here because that's where Blackshear was going to make the team, was on returns and punt returns and stuff like that. So I guess we're going with the rooks there. And I'm okay with it, but it is a big pressure situation. Fielding punts in the NFL has got to be the scariest thing you can do. It's like, I mean, what? Somebody name something scarier. All right, let's go to the next topic, which is.
Well, he mentioned Shy Tuttle. So I just felt like that's a good excuse for us to go through this D line and outside linebacker room. You have some of the names that you knew would be there: Derek Brown, Deshaun Robinson, Tershawn Wharton, Bobby Brown III, Cam Jackson, Jaden Cromartie, Patrick Jones. You think so?
Shot Tuttle?
Would you? Okay, so that's what I mean. Would you have gone with Jaden Cromartie or Shy Tuttle in that scenario?
Tuttle gotta go.
Tuttle. No.
I thought he was undersized, and I think that CK's been a giant critic of Ejiro Evero, Double E. Yeah. And I think the problem with Double E, and look, I don't know enough. Like, this guy knows more about, he's forgot more of football than I've ever even thought about football. So I'm not trying to say that. But when you run that 3-4, having an undersized nose tackle just didn't make sense. Do you remember the guy? Who was the guy that we loved? That he may have smoked some weed.
Oh, no, you're talking about
and he had kind of a lazy eye, but he was a rookie. He played well. God, what was his name? But they cut him, and then they brought in an undersized player. Look, they invested at this position. Alex talked about it. It's like, this was I won't say a no-brainer, but like totally expected.
Yeah.
And it's not even I'm not trying to dish Shy Tuttle as a player. I mean, that mug can go out there, give all of it, do this and that. But you're putting a guy that's short and not fat enough at the spot.
Yeah, he would always catch the most hell from Panther fans. It was easy. Everybody always complained about Shy Tuttle, as you're saying, being undersized, being that guy that just wasn't big enough and strong enough to anchor a 3-4 defense at that position.
He's a role player. He's a guy that comes in. You don't bank your season on Shy Tuttle, and that's what was his name? Scott. What was our old GM called? Scott Fitterer. You know what I'm saying?
We can forget him. We don't need to remember.
But like, that's the thing. It's not that Shy Tuttle's bad. It's just like, hey, we're gonna roll with Shy Tuttle as our starter.
Yeah. CK, what do you feel about this D line?
I think it's pretty deep. I mean, I'm hoping that it works with the 3-4, but like it looks like on paper this should be a solid defensive line. I don't know that we went into last year feeling that way. We felt like there were some depth issues consistently at that position, and then you lose Derek Brown. I think we have some real opportunity at this defensive line, taking a massive step forward, as long as we have the coaching staff to make it happen. That's still going to be the biggest outlier to me. We can have the most talented people there, and if our coach can't optimize them to the best of their ability, I think we're back at square one regardless.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the calls.
Hey, before you do, Tony, hold on. Let me do some business. Shout out to DJ Fish Nipples.
But CK, look.
CK, do your thing, brother. It's your turn. It's your time to shine, brother. Get in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have a brand new C3 super fan in the name of DG Fish Nipples 1366. Welcome to the C3 super fan club.
Yeah.
Gotta
Shout
have
out
one
to
of the
Fish
best
Nipples.
handles.
Oh yeah, DJ Fish Nipples. That's the homie. That's the man.
And
then also shout out to Adam Roscoe, who gave us a 199 C3 bomb. Says, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, worst linebacker room in our history.
Ooh, most unproven, maybe. We'll see if it's the worst. The Tahir, right? Whitehead.
I mean, one of these, we already mentioned this a little bit, but outside of Roseboro and Wallace, dude,
and Wallace hasn't even done anything. Roseboom is a second-rate
Wallace,
player.
I'm very excited about because of the flashes that we did see from him. I think that is a downhill thumper, which I think Ejiro Evero and Dave Canales wants the defense. They want to prioritize those types of players on defense. I think that's why they love Lathan Ransom and Trevon Moore. But, but these linebackers are going to have to drop back like Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis used to. I just don't feel like they're equipped to do it. I don't feel like they have the range. That's why I'm pretty confident that they are going to try to find someone to bolster this room before the start of the season. I genuinely feel that they have to.
Comments are on fire as usual. My bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso, says that 2020 linebacker room was bad, which is exactly what I went back and thought of. But we do have the rear view of that. C-Dog, I'm on this too, is we can't say it's the worst. It's definitely the most unproven at this point. Like, we don't know, but like if we come back at the end of the year and it's the worst, it could be. And then I like AT Aliens 404 shout out Outcast there. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. He's a linebacker with glasses. Ha ha ha. I like that. The number's 252-228-5098. Lou from Fort Myers is back. He called after the preseason game, but now we're back on cut day.
It's showtime. Lou from Fort Myers, and man, they done it to me, bro. They got
He's
rid
still
of the
sick.
exciting white.
5 days later.
They got
It takes
Hunter
2 weeks to
Renfrow,
get over
bro.
a cold.
I'm not actually crying, but in the inside I am. So they got rid of Hunter Renfrow, bro, and I don't want to look at who else they may have gotten rid of. Bro, in my opinion, bro, Hunter Renfrow can take David Moore's spot any day of the week. If David Moore is on the team and Hunter Renfrow is not, I'm going to lose it. I don't even want to look. I don't want to look. If Jimmy Horn doesn't make the spot, I'm going to lose it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the podcast, and I'm going to let you guys reveal who made the 53 and who didn't. Because I just saw one spoiler, and I'm already like, I'm losing it, dude. I'm losing it. Hunter Renfrow, we let him go out of all
Pretty
people?
stupid, huh?
But Kim Aquanu is still, that's another topic for a different day. But just want to say I love every single one of y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for doing this podcast. When life gets hard, you know, you just always got to turn on C3. Always got to turn on
Appreciate you,
C3.
brother.
And I promise you, it ain't going to get much easier, but just a little bit. You know what I mean? It's the cigarette right before this bullshit happens. The moment of clarity you have before you got to go back into the BS. But just wanted to say thank every single one of y'all. Love you, CK. Love you, Greg. Love you, Cody. Love you, Tony. Love Panther Pickle. Love
Appreciate
all
you,
y'all,
Lou.
Peace.
Lou, you're the man, brother. We appreciate you, dog. Yeah, I guess it went crazy because we got Hunter Renfro, dude.
Wow.
Dude, I really do feel like there is some sort of grudge against. Let me get Kevin's dumb ass off the screen. There's some sort of grudge against my Clemson Tigers, baby.
No. I think
we've been so terrible. We've been so terrible, and we have so many of these damn Gamecocks on the team. I kind of think that it's correlated, but
I do like the idea that the Panthers made some decisions about youth, right, and not immediacy. So, look, I think that Renfro was better. I wanted to ask Alex this, and like you guys can write this down for our notebooks when we do this show next year. I thought when I was watching the final preseason game and people were talking about Jimmy Horn Jr. not getting touches a lot in that third preseason game, were they actually doing Renfro a favor? Did they know that they were going to release him ultimately and saying, like, here's a moment to showcase a little bit? Like, we're going to give you opportunity here. I'm almost wondering if the reps in that third game are like a favor to those people of, hey, like, let's get you some more tape and show what you can do because we know we're not rocking with you. I mean, I know they don't say that to the person, but note it down. We'll find some trends. Let's go to the next call.
What's up, guys? It's Chase from Anderson.
What up, Chase?
Well, each team's cut 19 players from their roster. That's 18, 19 times 32, whatever that is. That's a lot. Some of them get signed to practice squad. Some of them get picked up by other teams. But a lot of guys, a lot of kids today saw their NFL dreams end. Kind of sad. Think about it. Yeah, a lot of them end up getting a chance in one of these other spring leagues or whatever. But a lot of guys today saw their dreams end. But for the 53-man roster, I really don't see them continuing with 7 receivers. I think they may try to trade somebody. Of course, the roster is going to still change and shift and move several times before week 1. So that's what we got now is not necessarily what we're going to have going into week 1. And, man, I really don't understand the Renfro cut unless they got it like behind the scenes handshake, say, hey, just hang on, we're going to bring you back. We're going to set this to try to have some trade bait or cut bait or something. Let's hope we don't get picked up by somebody else and Panthers re-sign him. All right, see ya. Well, their depth is, his talent's better, but depth for the team is paper thin.
Appreciate the call. We're addressing that and have addressed that. Let's go to the next one.
Let's do it.
C3 Panther Nation, what's going on, y'all? This is Preston.
Preston, what's up?
Man. Don't get me wrong with anything I'm about to say because I'm still very optimistic about the season. Of course, I'm very excited about the season. I do not get why we had to cut Hunter Renfrow. Now, maybe, it's like we cut him and we can pick him up on waivers and him be on the practice squad, but that's highly unlikely because Renfro is a baller. Like I was cool with us giving up Thielen. That makes sense. If we can get draft capital for him, he's one of those players that I respect, but it's not going to hurt me to see him go. He's not like seeing a Steve Smith or a Julius Peppers leave, Not really going to be sad. He didn't start here with us. He started in Minnesota. He's from Minnesota, so that makes sense. I feel like it'd be a mutual thing, really. He wouldn't be that sad to go, and we wouldn't be that sad to see him leave, even though he was productive while he was here. That makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense is Renfro getting cut. Honestly, I feel like Renfro's a younger Adam Thielen.
That's what I said.
A little more twitch.
That's what I said.
I don't. That's the only thing I really don't get. Again, excited for week 1 and down in Jacksonville, man. We made it. We made it, guys. We made it, boys.
We did. Keep pounding, bro.
The NFL season is upon us. So, I'm very, very excited. Excited to see what fucking Micah Parsons is going to do in, Dallas. I don't give a fuck about Dallas, but, yeah, that's my dad's team. And that documentary was that was a hell of a doc.
Yeah, I'm loving
on
it.
Netflix if y'all haven't seen it. I know I'm just rambling, but really the main thing, man, I don't really see why we got rid of why we cut Renfro, but you know what? I'm still excited. We'll see what we do. Hopefully, we can go 1-0 after week 1. All right, boys, keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Boys, I know we talked about this a little bit with Alex Zietlow, but can we just touch on this a little bit more now? This whole Adam Thielen trade. By the way, this was going around since the free-for-all last Friday. So this is something that's sort of been in the zeitgeist a little bit, Tony CK. But, you know, Tony, you brought up Adam Thielen's wife saying what she did. You know, and also, let's not forget that I believe it was a year ago, Adam Thielen went up and was catching passes from J.J. McCarthy. He was out there training, catching the ball for him. He's from Minnesota. He went to the University of Minnesota, plays for the Vikings. You know, there really is, it feels like there's a lot of truth to the fact that he wanted to go back to play for the Minnesota Vikings. It seems as though Dan Morgan really said, hey, man, we are not going to let you go for the price of a Burberry biscuit for you to go back up to Minnesota and for us to receive, what, a 6th-round pick in return for it. Like, I appreciate that Dan Morgan knows when to play hardball and say, no, you're going to give us either a 3rd-rounder or a 4th-rounder, or we're not coming off of this player that we all know that you all so desperately want and are in need of.
CK said it earlier, as in, like, make me sell the ticket. I think that Thielen was part of the Panthers' plan this year, though. Right? Like, is that none of this existed until this moment of the guy getting suspended and then injuries or whatever it may be. The Panthers were counting on Thielen as being part of their offensive plan. While I understand the story, the connections, I also tried to make this explicit, and I'm trying to be respectful of the Thielen family too, is that what the wife's, do we just take the wife's post of what her prayers and what she wants to be the same? I don't know if Adam Thielen necessarily is like unhappy about being in Carolina.
No, I think it's got to be a storyline part of it. Like, it's the coming home to finish your career. You know, you had your break. They didn't want you. You proved yourself. They want you now again, and you get to come back and potentially do something for your hometown.
Convenient. It's happy, but yeah, I don't think it means that CK that he's like not happy about being in Carolina.
The thing you got to keep in mind, he's going to go back up there as a temporary measure, being a guy who's probably still not going to be the number 3 wide receiver when all said and done, right? Like, there's a good chance
after week 4 he is.
Yeah, he's back down the totem pole, right? Now, whether he might not even be on the team after that, who knows? But, you know, the other part of this is, like, you got to think about it. If I'm Adam Thielen, you literally have just gone through this. Like, you went from Kirk Cousins to Bryce Young, and you had to learn, like, wait there and wait for Bryce Young to develop. McCarthy is going to be in the same boat to a degree, right? He's still got to develop as well, right? So do you want to, like, he's a red shirt rookie basically this year because of his injury last year. So, I mean, you're really hoping this guy can actually perform. And does Adam
they're
Thielen
selling at every other position too, CK. They have made trade after trade with other teams where they've given players away for 6th round. They're picking up 6th-round picks.
Yeah,
for guys. They sent a defensive, they sent a center, like they sent, like, you can go look at the waiver wire. They're sending players away. I don't want to put just too much. I respect them. I respect the wife. Look, the wife's life is part of Thielen's life, but they're not saying the same prayers.
Well, possibly, but it's also, like they said, it's not really. Here's the thing: is we wanted Adam Thielen so much so that we gave him a contract that nobody was willing to give him, right? Like, that's the case. He came in, he showed himself so much so that we gave him like a pay increase this year because he has been so reliable and so important to this team. Like, why would we give that up? We signed him to this extension. Like,
we shouldn't give him up. A 6th-round pick doesn't do shit in the NFL. I'm sorry. It's not worth anything.
It does not, absolutely nothing. Again, and Cody, I don't know if you got to hear me earlier when I kind of threw my idea. I think you did. You were there. Like, the whole point that I have with this is, if you want Adam Thielen, I want him a lot. You have to want him more.
Right.
And the Panthers want him, guys. The Panthers have you have a rookie number 1 in Tet that we're all excited about. You have a number 2 in XL that people are divided about.
Yeah.
This is the constant right here. He is, like Alex said, the number 1 receiver on this team. And I will not, and look, again, respect the wife and respect her prayers, and I hope all of them are answered. And like she's right, God's way is God's way. But if Adam Thielen doesn't want to be on this team, he don't gotta be. And what I mean by that, he could make the fuss. He could walk up in there and be like, I ain't playing, like, trade me. I don't know if that's where it's at. I think that the media, the rumor mill, all of this is making it more than it is.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing that I think is important is by this end of this season, if we keep him, he's very likely, there is a real possibility he goes into the top 6 for most receiving yards by a Carolina Panther. Like top 6 in 3 years playing for the Panthers. Like
you don't think he's not going to retire a Viking, right? Like, I mean, this is not going to really affect his legacy.
No. I'm glad that we're going to be able to be a part of it. Because if you don't think that dude's going into the Hall of Fame, you're out of your mind.
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough
dude. Look at his receive. Nobody's caught more passes than him in the entire NFL since he's been in there.
Wow. Hall of Famer.
How about this? If we bless him with the Super Bowl ring this year, he's definitely a Hall of Famer, huh?
No, that'd be nice.
Oh God, Lord, stop with that nonsense. All right, let's go.
Hey, let me let hope spring eternal.
Okay.
Espresso. Listen, man. Bam. Martin Scott. He made the team. He made the cut, yo. Inside linebacker. He actually might have a shot at starting because our linebacker, of course, sucks. Especially inside linebacker, so you might have a shot. I'm excited for that, former Gamecock, but you know what else? This little moment of silence for Hunter Renfro.
He's going to say something stupid. Oh.
Don't feel bad for Hunter. Yeah, plenty of time at Grateful Dead concerts this summer, so you enjoy those. Peace.
All right.
Hey, Kev, thanks for Jamar Chase, bro. I appreciate that.
Very tame call by my bastard son. Let's go to the next one.
Yo. What's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope you boys are having a good Tuesday, man. Calling in 903 a little late today. I was busy today. Just wanted to give my thoughts on the 53-man roster and a couple other things. So first off, the 53-man roster came out today. I'm glad some of these, because of the bad drafting we've had in the past, this new regime has been able to kind of look elsewhere for some talent that can help us immediately, and we kind of found that in Corey Thornton in this year, and then Jalen Coker last year. That's awesome to see, those guys make the roster again. I like that Jimmy Horn made the roster. Was a guy I didn't want to give up on. Truly believe he has some upside and some development here, so that's all good. And nothing else really surprised me. I know Hunter Renfro got cut yesterday, but I mean, not yesterday, today. And I know there's some controversy with that, but honestly, I think personally he's going to be called back up because I mentioned in our chat that he's like a vested veteran, which means he doesn't have to go through waivers to get back on a practice squad. So he basically said in the offseason he only wanted to play for us. So hopefully that stays true and he can come back if there's an injury or, like I'm about to talk about now, the big thing, Adam Thielen getting traded. Now, I love that Dan's kind of standing his own ground on this and like, hey, if we are going to trade this guy, if this is what Thielen wants, and if this is something we want, then we want the proper compensation. I think a third, honestly, is a little too rich. I don't think it's realistic. I mean, obviously, I'd love a third round, but this is a guy who's probably going to retire in a year or two, and he just wants to go back home to where he started, where he walked on to. Either way, for me, it's kind of like we have other receivers in that room, so we need those guys to get more reps anyways and build the repertoire with Bryce, assuming, you want Bryce to be here long term. If he shows out this year with guys like T-Mac, who they just drafted for Bryce, it's like, let those guys get more targets, man. I know Adam's been important to this team. but I'll repeat my same sentiment I've said many times. I feel like Adam is getting propped up as a player because of how bad everything else is. I mean, look at every other, besides Leggett and Koger last year, every other receiver Bryce has played with in his career is not on an NFL team. It's kind of crazy how bad his receivers have been. Like, it's crazy. So I get the argument of wanting to keep him. If we can't get something done, that's cool. We'll keep Adam Thielen. I just don't think he needs to have as big enough role, especially if you're still trying to develop Xavier Leggett too. He's a player that needs more reps, is going to need more time on the field, especially coming off the 2 injuries last year. So those are all things to think about. Those are my opinions. Nothing really interesting or different from the.
Cody, I think that if the Panthers had kept Renfro, that the Thielen trade would have been more of a story. And I went on the radio on Friday and I said this, and my buddy, who's a Commanders fan, he doesn't watch, he was like, nah, they don't look the same. They're not the same player, but they are. They're slot players. Thielen's in the slot. Slot. Is like, yeah, he's taller. He's playing that position. I think Thielen's a part of the Panthers plan this year.
Well,
and
I think part of the conversation is after every season, he's always talking about potentially retiring. Yeah. Whereas you have a young guy or a younger guy in the form of Hunter Renfro, who
he's not younger. He's dealing with
younger.
disease.
He is younger than Adam Thielen.
He looks like Andrew Luck.
But he does look like Andrew Luck. But hey, a former Pro Bowler, man. And listen, third and Renfro is the thing amongst Clemson fans. On third down, when you have to have it, Hunter Renfro will come down with the ball. I really do, and not just because of my Clemson fan. I know that's so played up,
but exactly.
It isn't. I think that he's a great possession receiver, and I think that on those must-have-it downs, if you give him a good ball, he is going to route you out of your shoes. And I really
a lot
do,
of players
I really
that say
do
this
hope,
on the defensive side.
I really do hope that we do bring him back as a vested free agent, whatever the fuck he's listed as.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next call. Only 2 left.
C3. Greetings from beautiful Idaho. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a nice Tuesday. Got our 53-man roster. Can't wait to hear the show tonight. I think you guys just kicking off. Had a quick question for you guys. I don't know. Tony, you call them thought experiments. Whatever, man. You're the professor. You know better than me.
I love a thought experiment.
I'm just, I'm cautiously optimistic about this team. But I'm just curious with you guys. We're probably not done making some moves. We always do something in late August, early September before season kicks off. What if you haven't done it already? Tony, Greg, CK, Kulash. What position group are you hoping we target? I'm just not feeling this team making a huge push for winning the NFC South. I don't know, maybe sneaking the playoffs like Greg wants, but I think we got a lot of holes to fill. I know for me, it's that linebacker position, but we'll say you guys.
That's right.
Thanks for all you do. Love you guys. Keep pounding.
Appreciate the call. We've talked about a little bit of this, but we will totally. I love the call. Thank you so much for your support. You smash the thumbs up button, call in 252-228-5098, be a part of the podcast. I mean, the most obvious is that linebacker, that inside linebacker group. There is some questions too when it comes to what I call the defensive end position, but I know it's an outside linebacker position in a 3-4. Is you got 2 rookies, you got one who had a collapsed lung, right? People calling for White Chocolate Espresso, my bastard son calling for Clowney and a vet. I don't know what position groups outside of a linebacker, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, and I will put tight end up there because you got a tight end in Tommy Tremble coming off a back injury, and I understand. Look, but they've listed him as number 2. I don't know where depth is really more concerning than in those positions. Those are my 3 positions: inside linebacker, defensive end. I know you guys call it outside linebacker, and tight end. That I'm sitting there going, what happens if there's a major injury? Those are the position groups that I'm looking at. I actually think safety group should be kind of I won't say should be taken off the table because I don't want to be like a authority on this, but I feel a lot better about Morg and Ransom and these guys. You can say their coverage skills aren't great, but I don't think it's as big as a vulnerability as people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think the safety is. I mean, I was getting ready to say that I think our middle linebacker might be our biggest concern, but then I started to see that. I mean, when I was saying that the middle linebacker was the biggest concern, I was thinking that maybe I should also add safety into that equation. But when I started to look at the names on that, I was like, you know what? Like, these guys have been quite solid for us. And historically, when you're talking about a good Panthers team, it hasn't been like mercenaries that have made our teams better. It's always been the homegrown talent. And I think you've got to be willing to let these guys develop. And so I think from what we've seen, these guys have done a pretty stand-up job in doing that.
Cody, position groups. Look, the cuts. Look, we've talked about Renfro. We've talked about this, but can you tell me a position group outside of inside linebacker, outside linebacker, and tight end that is more pressing than those?
I don't know, man. I mean, hey, how about this kicker position?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, like
perfect.
I really,
I like it.
I mean, listen, I don't feel as comfortable with Nick Fitzgerald as I did with some of the other guys that we've
With
had
who?
here in the
Eddie
past.
Pinheiro?
Well, I'm just saying there was a couple
Okay.
days in practice where Fitzgerald missed like 5 kicks in
I
a
don't
row.
remember that.
Well, I
don't
do.
remember that.
Trust me,
find
it's a
it.
real
Somebody
thing.
in the chat find that for me.
Oh, but
Because
you don't
I
believe me? You think I'm making that up?
I do.
There was like a day where he missed like 5 kicks in a row.
I don't think that's
it was
true.
on the shorter, it was on the more narrow uprights. So they said that maybe they would have been good.
I thought
if it
they
was
made-
on the standard, the
Chat,
standard field
confirm
goal.
this. I don't
But
believe it.
I don't think. I think that Nick Fitzgerald is our kicker for right now. So this is what Darren Gant said on the Panthers write-up. He says this is the group until it isn't. The Panthers have said they'll look at all the available kickers around the league. So until Fitzgerald lines up for the opening kickoff, field goal, extra points in Jacksonville in a week and a half, it'll probably be safest to not make too many assumptions. And Tony, I agree with that. I feel like they would probably like to have him on the team, but if there is a meaningful upgrade that they can make off of waivers, I do think that they will do it. I don't think that they have a lot of trust in
on
him.
that. I would just say, look, you're probably right. But I don't remember us having a show where we're talking about this guy being so terrible. We were at a dearth for information over the last 6 weeks. You're trying to tell me that this guy missed 5 kicks?
Yes,
and
you
we
haven't been
didn't
paying
talk about
attention. Yes, you don't.
We
pay
never
attention
talked
to
about
like
it.
us.
No, we never talked
it
about it
happened.
on this show.
Diesel
Well, then,
Skills
you know
put
what?
it in
That's
the
your
chat.
fault for
he
us
missed
not
it
talking
on.
about it.
He missed it on the Skinny Post, where it wasn't the official NFL post. So they're saying maybe it would have been better, but I just don't feel like it is as dependable as a kicker as we're all
Somebody
wanting.
get on Cody for this. Is the guy that
Get
wants
on
to do-
you for being so tapped out that you missed that big of a story.
I mean, don't worry. People in the comments already tell me I'm unprepared. But we didn't talk about it on the show, bro. It can't be that big of a story if we didn't actually even talk about it.
Well, we're talking about it now, aren't we?
Oh, wait, gotcha.
Yeah, we're talking
Gotcha,
about it
Tony.
now, and it's
Gotcha.
official. But Did you
Okay.
disagree with Darren Gant that the Panthers are probably,
Yeah,
that he
team's
doesn't trust it until he is officially kicking it against Jacksonville?
I don't know. I'm ready for the young. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it going with it. So I don't know. It's like I just don't remember that moment where anybody on this show was like he missed 5 in a row. I don't remember that moment.
Well,
because
all
you didn't
you know
say
what?
it.
You some bitch. Give me a minute.
Okay, we'll find it. This the last call of the night. No, but like, why weren't we talking about that? We didn't have shit to talk about for fucking a month, and that's what we didn't. We missed that story.
You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka! What's Gucci with my boy? What's good
My
with your
boy.
Cody and Lack? What's good with your CK? And what's Gucci with my white Italian brother? Hey, let's get into it, man. It was a big day, wasn't it? It was a huge day in Pantherland today.
It was.
I'm so freaking happy that Shy Tuttle got his ass cut. I pray for times like this for his ass to get the fuck out of Carolina. I was honestly hoping Tommy Tremble would be on his way out as well, because we got Jatavion Sanders, Mitchell Evans, and James Mitchell. I'm cool with those 3 tight ends just by themselves. We don't need a fucking Tommy Tremble, but his ass is coming. His ass is grass next season. Let's talk about the defense a little bit more. We're very thin at linebacker. I still believe that we need to add a couple of more DBs to the secondary. I still believe we have the worst secondary in the entire NFL, or at least bottom tier. I feel like we need to add players like Chad Muma, Kobe Bryant. I do definitely believe we should take a look at Isaiah Simmons.
Kobe
That's someone
Bryant
that needs to be played close to the line of scrimmage. There's a bunch of other players. I'm so grateful that we kept Jimmy Horn. But yeah, man, I just, had to call in, chime in with my dogs, and what's Gucci with you, Mr. Cody Lack?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Hunter Renfro
keep that
got
shit
cut.
up until,
Nothing Gucci.
Next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, player. You dig? And 3rd and gone, player. I told you that motherfucker wasn't gonna make this.
Yeah,
team,
you just
man.
wait. He'll be fucking back, and you'll be fucking loving it, stupid.
I just don't know what the fuck I'm talking about lately. All right, that's just the word around town. I just don't know shit. But I know your boy got backdoored, and he got the fuck up out of here, G. And you gonna be all right, dog. You gonna be all right. We still got fucking Nalo. We still got Coker. We still got Jimmy Horn and company. And y'all know who the fuck it is, man. I had to fucking call with my fucking dog to see what's Gucci, man. And it's G, baby, man. And y'all have a beautiful fucking night. I'm out.
Look at that. It's nice, G baby. That's sweet, G baby.
I mean, he's still
whispering
wrong.
nothing's into our ear.
I mean, he's still wrong. Hunter Renfro will be back.
Okay.
We will pick him up.
Are you willing to make another bet?
You know what? No, because G-Baby, it's not because I'm wrong. It's because G-Baby is infamous for never living up to his ends of the bets. And yet, I have to be the good person with good morals and change my profile picture to fucking, I don't even know who's in my fucking profile picture right now. Fucking whoever G-Baby's
I think it's David Moore.
Put up. Yeah, whatever, that dude.
David Moore. Oh my God. We did get just one more call in, so let's hit it up.
It's cheap, baby.
My boy.
I got a couple more other things I gotta say. I want to give my predictions for the season now that we were able to get through preseason fully healthy, unscathed, and whatnot. I want to give my motherfucking prediction. And my prediction is we're
Bryce
we go 12
Young
and 5.
is Jesus Christ.
We beat the entire NFC South, which means that 6-0. That puts us into the fucking playoffs.
6-0
in the NFC South is what he's saying.
Into the playoffs, and I have us winning first game of the playoffs. So, and I have Bryce Young as an MVP candidate. I don't see this defense getting much better.
Oh my
and
God!
That's
How
why
are you gonna make the playoffs, win the playoff game, and the defense ain't no better?
The king,
Gee, baby,
Bryce
come
Young,
on.
the truth, BY9 and company. I have to eat crow, bro. I gotta eat crow, and
Yeah.
And a shout out to my motherfucking dog JJ. Fuck your Buckeyes. We see you guys on fucking Saturday morning. 1 versus number 2. We won't get that lick back. But shout out to fucking, I never thought a day in my life I would say this, but man, shout out to fucking Lathan Ransom, dog. That's our starting safety. Lathan Ransom's the hardest hitting safety we've had since Mike Mitchell. We had Mike Mitchell back in 2013. We have not had an old school thumper since 2013 when we fucking traded for, or if we went and got fucking Mike Mitchell from the Oakland Raiders. What I noticed with Lathan Ransom is his vision. His vision when he plays on the field is just it's elite. It's elite, and he has no fear. I love that he has no fucking fear. Like he'll come out and
Mike Mentor
smack you in the fucking mouth.
Mike
man.
Mentor.
And I love that shit, man, because we haven't had a
Remember
safety
that.
like that in years, over a decade.
Mike
man.
Mentor.
And he's a young. He's gonna grow with this defense, and I feel like him and Morik should definitely be the ones back there manning the fucking secondary. Because I feel like we're gonna have some issues on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm trying to stay positive, you dig, and I am staying positive. So, the season's upon us, boys. We got a fucking full weekend of fucking college football this week, and then we got games on Thursday, Friday, and then all of the fucking weekend. And we got football. What the fuck? We here. Fall is damn near here, y'all. So, man, shout out to you guys and your loved ones. Hold your loved ones tight, y'all. Keep your family fucking close, because that's all that fucking matters in this world is fucking family. Y'all know who the fuck it is. It's G Baby, and I'm out.
Thank you, G Baby. Family. C3 family right there.
G, hey, I can't find this fucking tweet, but you trust me.
It's not true.
Yes, it is. I'm tapped
If you
into
can't
this
find
shit.
it.
You're not.
I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
just can't find it,
I just
but-
don't remember it,
But
bro.
Twitter has the worst search function.
Oh
that there
my
is.
God! Now it's about the
Yeah, you
search
don't remember,
function.
dude. Somebody
look,
in the fucking chat room vouch for me. God damn it!
No,
yes,
no,
the dude missed.
If
5
somebody
in
missed
a
5
row,
in a row,
one
we
day.
would have
Yes, he
talked about
did.
it for a million years on this podcast when we had nothing to talk about it.
If I
It's
don't
probably
put it
going
in
to
the
be he
show,
was
it doesn't
4
get
of
talked
5.
about.
How about
No,
this? Why
he
don't you
missed
search? He was
5.
4 of 5.
No, it wasn't 4 of 5.
Okay,
It was
okay.
5.
But look, I promise you, we
5,
have
5, 5,
3
5.
months of nothing to talk about, where we manufacture conversation, and you're trying to tell me that the kicker
Yes,
that
and
made
I'm
the
right, like I always fucking am.
okay, then you're a
I'll
woman.
Google it one time.
You're always
don't you
right.
put- Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's
I'm
fine.
the fucking man of
Google it.
visualization.
Somebody said Google it. Somebody just show me. And I'm not saying look, I'm not even saying you're wrong. I just know this is that this would have been a larger topic of conversation if that
So
was
then
the
you're
case.
saying I'm wrong. That's literally what you're saying. Because
saying
it
you're
wasn't
not
a
right.
larger topic of conversation that you're saying I'm right.
Then we would have talked about it,
now
bro.
you're doing the woman thing. Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong. You're just not
But you're
right.
not right. Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit. You ain't
Yeah,
right.
it's
All right.
bullshit.
You're listening to the
How would
C3
you
Panthers
know?
podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Cody, I think we've talked about every topic, right?
Yeah.
I think we're ready.
We've been through every roster spot.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have to talk nothing. Isaiah Simmons, nothing that. Guys, the C3 Superfan giveaway, or the giveaway is coming back. I'm sorry. I got it all prepped and ready to go. I'll be doing it. We're going to do it on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. We're going to do it on the 4th because there's 5 Tuesdays in September. So we're going to get a little extra runway in September. Got some cool stuff to give away. Historic Panther memorabilia. Got the giveaway set up. Let me see. They said the picture was too big. I gotta go. Too big. Rest in peace. Leg 2. It's that, but instead of the home sweet home, I've got it doesn't have the home sweet home sign in it. So look in the coming days for that. Don't do that one. That's not it. Cody Lack, we have argued. You have been a woman, and you've told me
this is so
if you are not my uncle,
I have had this fucking tweet.
Okay, well, you don't got it, but I'm just saying this. You're always right. You sound like
goddamn right. I'm always right.
The wife of this podcast.
Nah, bitch.
But
nuts.
It's time to ice some fools up. It's the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast where we ice some fools up. We tell them to toughen up to get it together. Let's ice these fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Steve Smith where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. It's our opportunity because it's our podcast to step outside the boundaries of football. And we can ice up our family. We can ice up football players. We can ice up Cody. I mean, if you use your ice up pick on Hunter Renfro, I feel like there's a redundancy protocol we got to put in. Either way, it's
why would I ice up my boy Hunter? Never.
Maybe we should ice up you for not putting it and finding this tweet that doesn't exist. Either way, I am always wrong according to podcast wife Cody.
I'm not even mad at you. It's that there's 5 people in the chat that I know can fucking vouch for me, and not one of them has fucking done it yet.
You know, it's like it's like a little bitch friend group. Oh,
nah.
Sorry, shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
all right.
right.
It's our time to ice up.
Shut the fuck up. I'm icing up this. Why is this fucking stream
ice up me not giving the giveaway when I should have given the giveaway. No problem. What do you got for us? Let's hear it.
Yeah. So shout out to this chick who got scammed into thinking her rent was only $100, and now she is I guess getting ready to be on the streets.
But I got kicked out of the tiny home that I wanted to stay in.
Laughing from the very first line.
Now I'm gonna go and work. Okay?
Oh.
But that's okay. I'm okay. Everyone's okay.
You know the intelligence is lacking when the first thing you notice about her is the nose ring in between her nostrils.
She said, I gotta go work.
Yeah. She was literally duped into paying only $100 rent because she thought that's literally how much her rent was going to be. Is this yours?
All right. Well, I have a couple tonight, but this one's a long one. Girl refuses DUI in LA. I think it's LA. Look, I mean, just look at the hips. I mean, first of all, a lot to be desired. And when I say not by her, by all of us. But look at this. This is just in, I don't know what the.
Getting in the car?
You have to. Okay. You don't have a choice. You're under arrest.
Is it too
have a seat in
loud?
the car, please.
Oh, no, I'm not getting in the car.
You have to get in the car.
Why?
For driving under the influence. Okay.
I'm just not getting in the car.
You have to get in the car.
Come on, you gotta get in the car.
Please have a seat in the car.
Come on, get in the car. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Go.
You don't have a choice. You're under arrest. Please have a seat in the car.
I'm sorry, but what in the test that we did just proof that I
That could all be explained later, but
You
you
just
all
wanted to show her tits. That's all.
No, wait till she
You
keeps
have
talking
to.
about
You
the
have a seat in the
test.
I'm not going
She's like,
in this car without
did not fail a
knowing
test.
You failed
what
the
I did
test.
when I didn't
Hold on.
fail no exams.
Okay.
I'm
No
sorry.
exam. That's what she keeps.
Have a seat in the car now.
We don't want to have to put you in the car.
They're so nice to
I
this
didn't fail my
girl.
exam, so
Okay.
I don't.
Have a seat in the car. Get in
I'm
the car.
not getting in this car without
Have a seat in the car.
knowing what.
Miss, get in the car.
I'm
Have a seat in
sorry,
the car.
but it's scaring me because I don't know
Okay.
what I did
Okay.
So
when I
long.
didn't do
But you're being
anything.
told you are
Keeps
under
going back
arrest.
to the
Okay. Have a seat in
exam.
the car.
Respectfully, sir, I am driving home to my family and I didn't do anything. So why are you accusing me?
We're not. You are under arrest. You have to get into the car.
Have a seat in the car.
I didn't fail no exam. So
Okay.
why are you?
You didn't fail
Have a seat in
exam.
the car.
I have a lot of things going on tomorrow.
Okay. Get in the car.
Oh my God, this is not fair because I'm literally trying to become one of you stupid people respectfully.
Okay.
But
Well, have a
that's
seat in the
not
car.
fair.
Respectfully.
Listen. If you want to have a
I
chance of
pulled up
listen,
because the guy in
if
front
you want to
of
have a
me-
chance of anything, listen to our instructions and have a seat in the car.
Stop! You
Have a seat in
really
the car.
are because you know what it is.
Have a seat
This
in the
is
car.
a dude they
We
would have
wanna
already
help you.
tased him.
You literally were your whole life, but you're not trying to help me.
Okay.
What? I don't even. Did you stop it or did it just end?
It just ended. That was the call.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Is that we would have all have been tased. Cody, I got 3 for you. All right.
Would you like me to go with one since I only have one, just in case
Go
one of yours
ahead.
is
Go in
fine?
between. Go in between.
All right. So I'll ask you guys: have you guys watched the video with Rampage Jackson yet?
Oh yeah, dude. I literally couldn't escape it. You couldn't scroll Twitter without seeing the dude almost beat a man to death.
Is Rampage Jackson kid?
Yeah. Did we? Do
I
you
don't
think
know how
that
to
there's?
feel about this.
Do you think that we should play that or no?
Probably no.
Okay. So I'll give you guys the synopsis of what has taken place. So Raja Jackson, as Tony alluded to, is the son of Rampage Jackson, former UFC current wrestler. Or just, I don't know if he's still, if he's wrestling now or not, but anyway, his son Raja is a streamer on Kick. He's, by all accounts,
got banned from Kick for this.
Yeah, all accounts, he was had a promising up and coming career. Like he had an opportunity to really excel at life ultimately. Well, he went to this amateur professional wrestling, and if you guys know what professional wrestling is, it's the basically soap opera for men. And so this is amateur level where they're not they're not making a ton of money or anything like that. But Raja Jackson went to one of these, and he was in the back. All the wrestlers are in character and all that stuff. And I believe this guy's name is Psycho Stu or something along those lines as the wrestler. Well, Raja started to kind of go up and talk to him, and then the Psycho Stu, being in character, was kind of hazing him, if you will, or what have you. And so he did what wrestlers do and did something a bit over the top. He took a beer can or a can of some sort and smashed it over his head. Now, this in and of itself would normally be okay, that's no big deal, or I'm sorry, that seems like it's pretty aggressive to see that happen, until you realize that these guys know how to do it without hurting people. That's the whole point of it. Hence, Raja Jackson didn't even react to it. He didn't put his arm up. He didn't hold his head like it hurt. Nothing.
And he apologized afterwards.
Then the wrestler apologized because he thought he was in on it. He thought he was aware of what was happening. He apologized 3 times, and so much so that they encouraged him to get involved in the match and get his lick back, if you will. The plan, from what all accounts was he's going to go in there, when he's unexpecting it, and Raja was going to body slam this wrestler and then land one punch, which is still supposed to be a fake punch, but nonetheless land one punch. Well, this kid, no matter what you want to say happened, You can say he was rage-filled all you want. On his own stream, before he even went into the ring, he said aloud for everybody in his stream to hear, I'm going to punch this MFer as many times as I possibly can. This is meant to be, again, professional wrestling. None of this is real. Well, he goes in and he body slams this guy, but he doesn't body slam him. He does a double leg takedown, slams him so hard that he gets knocked out upon landing on the ground. No movement whatsoever. Now, this is, that's bad enough as it is, right? He doesn't, maybe he did not, you can make an argument. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing when he's talking about doing a, professional wrestling. How do you do that without hurting somebody? Whatever that may be. I don't know. He proceeds, an unconscious man laying on the ground, by the way, a former veteran of the United States military, laying on the ground. He proceeds to swing with all of his might 22 times, landing shots on his face. This guy not moving whatsoever. The most cowardly, the most coward thing I've ever seen anybody ever do who wants to pretend like they're a big boy. Absolutely unbelievable how ridiculous that was. He finally gets out, and then he starts talking like he was like, I'm tired of people talking shit about me, all this stuff, whatever it is. No accountability whatsoever. When somebody told him the dude was possibly dead in the ring, he said, my bad. Not like, oh shit, not, oh, my bad. And then hangs up the phone.
It's that flatline.
Yeah. And so to that family, that kid who had a promising future, I'm saying ice up, because it's people like that have no place in society. If you can't control your emotions to a degree where you're about to murder a guy, like legitimately, there was a fear this dude was dead in the ring. That's how egregious this video was. Like, you could talk about 5 years, 10 years. People like that do not deserve to be in society. I'm sorry.
Ice up from CK. All right. My next ice up comes with this. So you got to watch this pre-video right here. This is Donald Trump talking about the governor from Virginia.
And inside of this country, Baltimore is a horrible,
Or Maryland, excuse me, Maryland.
I know Governor Moore said, oh, he wants to take a walk with me. He meant it in a derogatory tone. I said, no, I'm the president of the United States. Clean up your crime and I'll walk with you. But it's tremendous crime. But he was trying to be derogatory. He doesn't have what it takes. But he's trying to be derogatory. And I met him at the Army-Navy game. They said, oh, there's Governor Moore. He'd love to see you. He came over to me, he hugged me, shook my hand. You were there. He said, sir, you're the greatest president of my lifetime. I said, but it's really nice that you say that. I'd love you to say it publicly, but I don't think you can do that, so it's okay. But no, sir, you're doing a fantastic job. I want to just shake your hand. Thank you very much, Governor. That was it. And then every time I see him on television, he's knocking the hell out of me. So, but that's all right.
All right. So Donald Trump says that this guy,
Baltimore is a horrible.
He said that this governor from Maryland said he was the greatest president.
Oh.
He's like,
Tony, you're frozen.
First post. So it's
Tony.
You need to start over. You froze. Can you hear us?
Froze. You might have to. We got through the video, but we didn't hear anything after.
Okay. Well, so Wes Moore, the governor from Maryland, retweeted the video and just said laugh out loud. And then his next comment is keep telling yourself that, Mr. President. So
you're breaking up
for
again.
the people that basically is. I think I'm being interrupted by. I'm being interrupted.
Yeah,
by
the
Trump
CIA
presidency.
said don't fucking talk
back out
shit
and come
about
back in and see if that works. If that fixes it.
I gotta back out and come back in.
Yeah, because you were delayed there for a while too.
All right, so my ice up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My ice up is that Donald Trump said this guy said he was the best president ever, and his retweet was laugh out loud. And then he went on to say, keep telling yourself So I don't know what to take of that other than the guy that he said he was the best president ever. Said, no, I'd never said that. So I'm going to ice up false messaging.
The funny thing about that, in my opinion, just real quick, is I think he probably came up and said something very positive to Trump, and Trump, in his very narcissistic way of living life, heard something that was so so over the top that, and he convinced. I think he believes what he's saying. By the way, I don't think he thinks he's lying.
That doesn't
here.
make it right. So I'm
No.
icing up. You saying that I heard you say I was the greatest president ever, and then the guy on Twitter went on and said, "No, I don't know who's lying. I don't care, but somebody lying."
And you're icing him up.
Yeah, this though, Cody, is for you. Cody, this is worse than a bicycler. Right? You ready?
Yep.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God!
What the?
Hold
It
on.
just
Wait,
never
he
stops.
Look, the light is red. The light is red.
No.
So this
Oh my
stupid
God, what a
whoever he is,
dildo.
dude, this guy, look, the light is red. Look, if we look at it, look, this motherfucker is trying to, whatever he's doing, is shooting 1,000 miles an hour on a longboard. And he's mad that this person obeyed traffic penalties. Fuck them. Ice up. All you stupid ass motherfuckers that want to make videos more than you want to protect your life.
Yeah, get out of the road.
Dude, stupid. That's the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night, we chop out the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. CK, you got something to say on that?
No, you just cut out again. You're doing your little
your microphone or your webcam.
Well, then y'all take me out of here.
Let's do it. C3 Legion, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back this Friday for another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I am definitely right. Nick Fitzgerald missed 5 kicks in a row. No comments from the Peanut Gallery. C3 Legion, keep pounding.